Superchats! Is this not why you are here?
Well, we've been building up to this one for a week now. You guys ready for this? I sure am. Today, I have in the house, got Richard Hart, Gary Woods, I got Rocky Savo, I have Miguel from Dollar Cost Crypto, and of course myself for a very special edition of the Rational Mail. Long time coming. Thank you guys. Thanks for being out there. Thanks for being here. We'll get started here in a second. Yes, I will take questions from the chat as well. Super chats as well as if they're good, they don't necessarily have to be. I'm pretty good at that. So, all right. Here we go. Let me get the audio squared in. There we go. All right, guys. I have Richard Hart. I have Rocky Savo. I have Gary. And I am unmuting everybody now, so you guys are good to go. How's it going, man? I'm glad. Thank you for coming and participating with us today, Rich. It's been a long time coming. I think we've been trying to work this out really since last year, like June of last year, right, Gary? I mean, that's the first time you were telling me about this.
Yeah.
And then we met up at Rebel Capitalist in, I want to say it was Houston, right? At the beginning.
Yeah, I think it was actually in Miami. It was George Gammon was hosting Rebel Capitalist. That's the first time that we met. And then soon after that, he launched with Ken McElroy and Jason, their collective advisors. And every time that we have every 3-month meeting, end up seeing you and saying, hey, you got to get Richard on. The engagement's going to be through the roof.
Yeah. I'm glad to have you. It's good to have you in the States. I guess I'm not going to tell you where you are in the States, but it's good to have you here. And welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be on.
So we're going to have some. We're going to start with some questions that I think Gary's going to get us started here. If you guys don't know who Gary is, Gary, can you give you a quick introduction of like what it is you do and what you're about?
So I've been around the Hex or Richard Hart community for about 3 years, the same as Dollar Cost. He'll give his story in a little bit. But for the past 3 years, been an advocate and supporter of the product called Hex by the inventor or innovator of Richard. And as far as a background, started out farming in my childhood, later special forces medic, deployed to war and things like that. And then later cardiology, all kinds of specialties of heart transplant and so forth. But really what retired me was not a academic or professional career. What retired me is this innovation of Hex that I hope we talk about today.
Oh, yeah, of course. And I've got Miguel. Miguel, introduce yourself real quick so we get the full panel going here.
No, for sure. Yeah, my name is
you are.
Yeah, my name is Dollar Cost Crypto, one half of the crypto mindset. Been in Hex since the beginning. Started along with RG3 with the Discord Syndicate. And streamed along with Hexologists through the whole Hex AA amplifier phase, as well as like the whole big payday and all that as well. So, and then from there, ended up creating the crypto mindset courses as a way to kind of onboard people into Hex and overall crypto, basically, and kind of fusing the red pill and crypto.
Why do they call you Hexagon?
They've been calling that for a while, man.
And you're in Vegas right now, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Vegas right now.
You're in Vegas. Okay, because a lot of people think you're in Japan.
California, Japan, Miami, I'm all over.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, and then I've got Rocky Savo. Rocky, just everybody knows who you are in my
You
channel.
don't know, I am an actor, a rapper, a hockey player, and I'm also the founder of the Red Pill Alliance NFT collection, and I pretty much do it all.
Excellent. And last but not least, we've got Rich. Man, if you don't know who this guy is already, man, I tell you, I know that there are some like real it's strange to me to see like the trolls between like the crypto sphere versus like the political sphere versus like the manosphere sphere. And I'll tell you, man, the crypto sphere is a breed apart, man. It's like you either love this guy or you hate this guy. And I just, people are saying, oh, this is a bad look, Ro. This is a bad look. I'm just like, how many times I've heard that this is a bad look from other people that I've had on this show before. And I just wanted to give you a big shout out before we even get started here, because I'm so happy to have you on this show.
I've never talked so little. Don't get used to it. You want me to introduce myself?
Yeah, go ahead. Just give us a quick one.
Hi, everybody. I'm Richard Hart. I have been in Bitcoin since I mined it for free at 50 cents each coin. Now they're $23,000. I called the top of the day back when the price was $65,000. Went down to $17,000 shortly thereafter. I gave away about $500 million of free hex to Bitcoin holders exclusively. I'm doing the world's largest free airdrop to everybody that has any token on Ethereum, including Ethereum itself. I own the world's largest diamond. I own the world's fastest, or rather quickest Ferrari, and the most expensive Rolexes ever made. I've got $10 million in Rolexes, $3 million in cars. I guess it's like 3.7 now, I think, but I'll have to check my math off stream. And what else? I write free self-help books. And my cryptocurrency I invented called Hex went up in price 10,000x in under 2 years. And that's before staking it. If you staked it, you made a lot more than that. Pretty cool stuff.
Excellent.
I raised $27 million for charity too.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that's actually what I was going to say, is like a lot of the stuff that you're doing is you give a lot back.
I warned everyone to take their coins off Luna.
Yeah.
And I warned everyone to take their coins off of Celsius.
And
I could go on and on and on and on and on and on.
Single-handedly raised the price of Red Bull.
Yeah. Red Bull should pay me.
Yeah.
you need endorsements. Okay. So Gary, like, what do we have for us? What do we want to get started with here as far as like questions and comments?
Yeah, so I ran a Twitter space earlier today, about 2 hours worth. Most of the community participated. People that are Olympic medal winners, people that are actors, people outside of this community were asking questions. First highlight was, what was Hex? Why did it do what it did? Is it over for Hex because that's a 3-year-old product now? Or what's next for the Richard Hart community? So first question is really, what is Hex?
Sure. So Bitcoin went up from a penny to $69,000, a 690 million% increase in about 12 years. And it tried to be a currency. It failed entirely to do that, but accidentally did something that's more valuable, which is store value. Store value is more valuable than payment network or cash. So for instance, a year or two ago, the statistics were that there was about $7.2 trillion in time deposits and only about $5 trillion of printed cash. And therefore, the market that Hex addresses, the time deposit market, is larger than the market that Bitcoin tried to address and failed. So we do payment better. We're more secure. Our price performance is vastly superior. We're up 250-fold versus Bitcoin since January 5th of 2020. And this is after a big dip. It was 750-fold, but in the bear market, everything tends to drop a little bit. So for instance, Bitcoin dropped 75%, Ethereum dropped 85%, Hex dropped 95%. And when these things get back up, which one do you think is going to get back up the fastest and the farthest? So Hex's time deposit mechanic is Nobel Prize worthy, in my opinion, in that it's the first time people have ever locked up so much money for so long. The average stake length in Hex I used to brag about being 2.8 years, 3.8 years. Now I think it's 7 or 8 years now. When you have something that people buy, they don't sell, they lock it up for years and years and years, price tends to go up because it restricts supply and demand. The demand greatly exceeded the supply and still does, or it depends on what time frame you're looking at. But after a massive dip, a 10,000x increase, even if you dip 90%, it only cancels out 10x. So any 90%, if you look at Bitcoin, it's done a bunch of 85% dips, but it's still up 690 million% at the peak. And it's still up now, 2/3 of that or 1/3 of that or some very large number. And thus, if you look top down and just look at dips, you're crazy, because the majority of the chart is bottom up. The majority of the chart is up. Only occasionally do we do these down things. And I believe there are opportunities. You know, I think there's people that sold their Bitcoin at 50 cents instead of buying it. I think there's people that sold their Bitcoin at 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and now the price is higher than that. So, you know, things that have product market fit, I think dips are opportunities.
So when you talk about Hex, Ethereum, Bitcoin, these other crypto leaders, why Hex is different than Bitcoin? I've heard of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's a dumb rock. You can't do anything with it. It's like useless. You can buy it, you can hold it. If you lock it up, you don't get any interest. You know, the networks had 2 inflation bugs where you could mint as many free coins as they wanted. One, it did happen. The second was responsibly disclosed before somebody used it. And, you know, you can't put stable coins on it. You can't do online on-chain exchange with it. You can't do time deposit. You can't, it just sits there. And it's very expensive and it blows up the environment. Hex doesn't do that. You know, Hex has a very, very, very small environmental impact because we pack the value of Hex on top of blocks that are already being mined for the Ethereum network anyway. So we're just making the Ethereum network more efficient by packing more value on the blocks that are already being mined. And, you know, Bitcoin, it uses so much electricity that they have to turn the miners off sometimes. So for instance, in Texas, they had to shut the miners off because people were going to have to otherwise turn off their air conditioners and turn off like their housing electricity because, you know, it just wastes so much energy. And the more valuable the network gets, the more energy it has to waste to defend that value. Hex has none of these problems, which is why we outperform Bitcoin's price 250-fold. And it's due to less negative externalities and superior features. Now, Ethereum is way better than Bitcoin. It's just it scales differently. So demand on Ethereum has to do kind of with, like, for instance, Hex being on Ethereum helps Ethereum because we've on-ramped a lot of users to Ethereum. But now with Pulsechain, which is our improved version of Ethereum, we won't really need to focus on on-ramping Ethereum users any longer.
Bring everybody out. Yeah, I was going to say, do you think after this dip, like that is, as far as Ethereum and Bitcoin are concerned, do you think Ethereum is going to be something that outperforms Bitcoin at least for a little while?
For sure. I think Bitcoin will always be outperformed by Ethereum and almost everything else that has product market fit. You can't find less gains in crypto. It took 5 years to get from, I mean, I guess you could really search. I could list you some coins that are even worse, but it's pretty bad. So it took Bitcoin 5 years to go from a 20K all-time high to a 69K all-time high, which is just a 3.5x. It's trash. A 3.5x when Hex went up thousands of X. And if you talk about from the COVID dip, you know, the COVID dip brought Ethereum down to 88 and it brought Bitcoin down to 3,800. And then Bitcoin went up to 69K from 38, roughly a 20x. And then Ethereum went from 88 to 5,000, which is like, you know, 55x. And so do you want, it basically outperforms Bitcoin 3-to-1 from the COVID dip. And so why would you like, do you want more gains or less gains? And then Hex is up versus all those. You know, I think we're up 70x versus Ethereum and 250x versus Bitcoin.
And I asked you this already, but I'm going to do it anyways publicly here. Like, you don't have a date for Pulsechain just yet.
Nobody knows when Pulsechain comes out because the devs themselves don't know when Pulsechain comes out, and they're the ones writing it. So it's like asking a writer when a book will be done.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck with that. It's impossible to predict when software will be complete. You're just fooling yourself. You don't know. It's not. You're doing something that's never been done before. It's hard.
Right. Can you talk a little bit about, I mean, to everyone here, like, not your keys, not your coins, in terms of, like, I know that's something that in Hex we've been pushing for a long time to get control of your coins, but you've been really the main one to be championing that whole moniker and stuff.
Cryptocurrency was invented to get rid of counterparty risk. So what do people do? They're stupid. So they re-inject the counterparty risk. They give their coins to somebody else. So they try and pick up pennies in front of freight trains. Luna and Celsius come along and they say, hey, you can make yield, just give us all your coins. And the idiots, they go and give them all their coins. And then they don't get their coins back. They freeze withdrawals. Oh, it's over. Sorry. Can't get your money back. Oopsie. Well, that's the opposite of why crypto exists. So in Hex, you hold your own keys, you mine your own yield, you mint your own yield. There's no middlemen. No one can stop you. You don't have to beg anyone. It's just awesome. It's what cryptocurrency was invented to do. It's put you in charge of your finances. And so if people would just listen to the good advice that I give, you wouldn't have to be part of one of these headlines that says, look at all the $1 million lost, hundreds of millions of dollars lost in this hack, that hack, this shutdown, this bankruptcy. I love that all these people have more followers than me. All the bankrupt guys, the losers that lost everyone's money, they have more followers than me.
Yeah.
But I called the top on the day, designed a 10,000x crypto, raised 27 million for charity, danced better than them. Richard, but no one cares about that. Yes, apparently they do. So the world's not fair. So I have to scream and yell and punch and push really hard to try and save these people, because otherwise they just don't hear the message. And I'm out here saving people and they're out here destroying them. I'm trying to pick people out of the quicksand and they're stepping on their heads. It's rough.
You were on Kiko News. This was like the best quote from there, where you said, I think you probably said this before, but you were like, ladies, liquor, and leverage will get you wrecked. Do you want to explain why that is?
Ladies, liquor, and leverage is how smart men go broke. It's a Charlie Munger quote. I'm sure he got it from somewhere else, but quite, basically, if you're smart and you work hard, you would think that you would be more wealthy over time. But there's ways to lose all your wealth quickly. Divorces is one. Drunkenness and gambling is another. And leverage is just another form of gambling. So a gambling addiction and or a leverage addiction. So for instance, Michael Saylor took on leverage to buy Bitcoin. Oopsie. His company is, $1 billion to the negative or more now on that little play. When have you ever told me to take out a loan? Or when have I ever told anyone to take out a loan to do something in crypto? Oh, never have. No reason to get shaken out. No reason to get scam wicked. Just wait, The spot gains are enough. Like if you stake your hacks, you're making like an average of, I guess the average APY is 38% for all the stakers. But some of those guys got it earlier at better share prices than you. So, now you're not going to make as good. Maybe if you stake 1 year, you're looking at 15%. Maybe you stake like 3 or 5 years. I think if you stake like 6 or 7 years average, you're going to be at the 38% mark. But you got to check it. You got to use a calculator to look at it. But even if you don't stake, you're still making mad gains in the price appreciation. When it goes up, it tends to go up after dips, and we're in a dip. It was 56 cents, and now it's like 5 cents, 6 cents, something like that. So I think I've advised a lot of friends that Hex is something they want to look at, because historically these dips are wonderful opportunities. I should do the cover your ass stuff. If you get wrecked, it's on you, bro.
Yeah.
Because crypto is volatile. Like maybe if you go 95. I guess it already did win 95.
Do you think it's the mentality of these guys? Do you think it's like a gambling addiction? Or do you think, because you got it sounds to me anyways, you got into this for the right reasons, right? Everybody was, like I started doing my work and what I talk about because my brother-in-law committed suicide. And so it's like I got into it for like, I know personal reasons, I guess, as opposed to like, okay, let's make a whole lot of money. I've been doing
crypto or
what's that?
You got into crypto because your brother-in-law killed himself?
No. I mean, I got into writing my books and doing what I do in the manospheres as far as that's going to, like my wheelhouse anyways. But it seems to me like, I mean, when you're giving back to the community, you're giving, money to the charity, you're trying to.
I got a funny story about that.
Yeah.
So I've been a self-help author for much longer than people have known that I've been in crypto. You go back to my earliest videos, they're just self-help videos. Here's how you give a better apology. Here's how you have better relationships. Here's how you can be happier. Here's how you can drink less, gamble less, quit playing video games. Like all my videos are about those things. And I didn't get as much done trying to help people with the book as I did with the crypto. I know for a fact people have not killed themselves because they're focused on the future and they've got something good to look forward to because of the time lock, the time deposit. I was able to accidentally get better health outcomes for people through the cryptocurrency than I was when I directly tried to get them better health outcomes through the book. And so the cryptocurrency accidentally did more for people's mental health and well-being than the book that specifically was written to help these things. Right. And I didn't design Hex to solve people's mental health. I designed it to appreciate and value. And it just accidentally did wonderful things for people's internal game or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I was going to say is like the main reason I got into writing my now the 5 books that I have out was really just to sort of explain things. I've had a similar experience, Rich. It's like when I have guys that come up to me and say, "Hey, your book saved my life," or I had a date with death, right? They would literally like set a day that they were going to kill themselves because, they just simply they got out of a bad relationship, or they were getting a divorce or whatever, and they would come up to me, tearfully, and say like, "You've saved my life, and my kids now have a father in their lives because it makes sense to me right now."
As far as the gambling goes, I look at degenerate gamblers as people that need high frequency dopamine. And so a staking product that doesn't have that type of high frequency in out, it's the opposite basically.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at the price chart a lot and it moves around a lot. So that's a thing, but you're not really wrecked, you're just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're leverage trading, you will get liquidated and you're out and it's over, and you get your liquidation email and you now have to go work a job again to save up enough money to get your adrenaline fix. So I don't think, even in our community, we have people that try and like play that adrenaline game and want to have something to do. And I hate it because, I see how poorly it works out for people over and over again. But, we have that in our community. We have adrenaline junkie, gaming, trading kind of people in there. They're everywhere,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. I think especially even in one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because I'm finding that there's a lot of crossover between sort of my wheelhouse and like the financial sphere, the crypto sphere. Miguel and I are doing, collaborating right now, talking about doing a dedicated studio in Vegas, and it
DJs, poker players. We had a lot of armed service guys in Hex, ton of armed service guys. I don't know why. I've wondered if it's because I act like a drill instructor or what the deal is, but like, and then, I guess it's just all dudes, that's like the primary. There's no girls in crypto except for like 5 or 6 of them. The 5 or 6 girls are going to yell at me now.
Yeah.
Shout out Nerd Girl.
Yeah. I got David Fetter here saying, Richard Hart changed my life. I paid off all my student debt and have financial freedom now.
I remember when he made that video at a penny. He paid off all his student debt when Hex was 1 cent, and then it went up to 56 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
I got KNTX here says, much respect to both Rollo and Richard, giving people the right tools to be the best versions of themselves.
Is there some type of like literary meaning to that term, Rollo Tomasi? Was that like?
Yes. I know. I just explained this on Ruslan's my Ruslan interview. So Rollo Tomasi is actually a character from LA Confidential, and I took on the name back in sort of
that's how he knew that the guy was lying.
Like, right. He's the guy that gets away with it, and I used that from as far back as like say 2004, 2005 when I got into sort of like the seduction community and I was doing my writing way back in 2002. So it just kind of stuck, and it's my pseudonym for when I'm writing where I'm writing books or I'm doing my own show. So it just just what I go with right now. But yeah, it's funny when people like accuse me of like trying to pretend like I'm Italian. I'm like, dude, look at me. Do I look Italian?
Irish to me, man? You look very Irish.
Actually, I'm Scandinavian. I'm Danish, but yeah, exactly.
You guys need to rebrand. I think I've seen enough headlines where the term seduction community is just a very bad term.
Yeah. I agree. And I'll tell you what's funny is like whenever I have to field questions from like guys who want to compare me to like a PUA, or they want to talk about the manosphere, they want to talk about the red pill, their impression of all like what I talk about is still stuck in like 2005 with Neil Strauss and Mystery. And it's like, if that was like 15, 17 years ago. And if that's like your impression of what's going on right now, you really need to update your impression. You need to like catch up.
I probably need to update my worldview because I didn't know anything changed.
Yeah, no, it is most definitely changed in 15, 17. Yeah.
I've always wanted to ask you, is that why you were all like, you were into doing the top hat and the peacocking and stuff because of Mystery?
I mean, you have finite sexy stereotypes that you can shoehorn yourself into, and I don't know exactly how I ended up there. So I know that like I had an 8-year girlfriend, and I was volunteering for the Sens Foundation, which both I raised 27 million for, and Vitalik gave like 3 million or 8 million to, and then Sam Bankman-Fried gave 50K to. So now they're known, but back then the only person who knew about them was me. And I went there and I met this other guy that was rich and retired named Billy Al, and he happened to be on the board of directors of the foundation. He invited me to come do photography with him in Ireland. So I was in Cambridge volunteering for the charity, and then I flew over Ireland to hang out with Bill and shoot some pictures. We became good friends, and he's still on the board of the Sens Foundation. So if they do anything good, it's probably because he's allocating the money properly. Please, Bill, save our lives. Thanks. So I was in a Subway sandwich shop there, and I was talking about Tony Robbins events, and somebody in the line was like, "You ought to go do these courses here. They show you how to have fun in nightclubs." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" All right, cool. I like learning stuff. And so I did some courses on how to like party, and you're like, "Is that a thing?" You're like, "Yep, it's a thing." And then I became friends with the guys, and we went out every single night for months, every night.
Hmm.
And when you go out every single night and learn how to have fun, you just try a bunch of different stuff, So I eventually got around to cutting my hair. It was too long. I eventually got around to cutting off my absolutely stupid looking gigantic beard, which was in hindsight such a bad look. And then you learn fashion, and then you're limited by whatever the fashionable items that are for sale there. And there was just this one shop that sold like really cool stuff. And so I just loaded up on the really cool stuff that they had. And so I guess my first top hat was purchased in a costume shop in Dublin in like 2010. No, it had to be earlier than that. It would have been like 2009, 2008. I mean, somewhere in between 2006 and 2008, I think.
Because when did you retire? 2004?
I retired in 2003. Yeah.
Oh, 3. Okay.
Yeah. And so like you really it's whatever gets the job done, I have had fun with people sensually in every kind of format. I'm not wearing clothes and we're in a sauna format, the beach, tank tops, overdressed, doesn't matter. Like all that's like the what you wear stuff, it matters so much less than your facial expression, tonality, frames that you choose, posture, who you're with, and most important of all is where they're at in their life and what they just like ahead of time. Like people that like me have daddy's issues currently because I look like a dad, I guess. So the majority of girls that like me a lot now are girls that, like older dudes. And it's just what are you going to do to change your age? It's not that easy. You can like dye your hair and stuff.
Tell me about it.
But if you're doing well with daddy vibe, but the problem that I think there's some mental illness stuff that comes with girls that have daddy issues as well. So I just received, I'm going to read you a funny text that I just received that I screenshotted for somebody. This is a real gem. So I knew this girl before she became a dancer. I keep knowing and being friends with girls before they become adult entertainers. It's really weird. It's like, am I generating them? Or is it an accident that they like me and like that? Which I actually think it's the latter of the two, because I would never suggest this as a line of work to people. So she sends me I like making oh my God, I didn't even see this. This is new because I didn't want to click it because that's going to show I read it. I like making friends with demons. You need special eyes to see them. And then sexy video. Nice eyes. Okay. And back on my demonolatry stuff again. Burer wants me to work with him. He came to my dream. I've never heard of Burer. So this girl, who's nice, worships demons and believes that they make her profitable at the club. And previously, the last money demon that she worshipped was named, can't can't remember. I don't memorize the demons' names, but you have to. So this is like. This is dangerous, right? This is like wake up with
Chick
my
rack,
finger
man.
chests, like I thought I hit all those. Arm's length on this one, dude. But when a girl like she works at the club and new girls come to the club and all those girls like girls together and then they got to go somewhere after the club to party and you're like, so there's always in any city a guy with a place that the girls go to after the club to party. I'm that guy. I have that place. But I also get demon messages.
So Richard, you're on demon time.
Oh man, I'm glad you said that, man, because I was gonna feel real weird about getting into like how is it like being as rich as you are and how do women like come on to you like, oh, it's demonology.
I swear to God, the money does not help. Like it sucks. The money is so useless, dude. I swear to God, it's depressing. You have to hide it and do everything you can to like be silent about it. Like as soon as you try and actually flex that you're rich, they're super allergic to it. It's like having a six pack and like forcing a girl to look at it. They don't like it. You have to accidentally yawn and like accidentally pull your shirt up too high or oh, it's too hot. Let's play some football, bro. Yeah. You have to have a reason to get your shirt off. You can't just take it off. I don't have this problem. Whatever the opposite of a six pack is, I have that. I have the anti six pack.
Yeah, I got all these questions. Like when we did the pre-show with Gary, I got all these questions. One of the ones I have to ask is like fashion sense and clothing. It's like where did you pick up the fashion? Like you're known for like I used the thumbnail with you in your Louis Vuitton outfit and everything. It's like is that for shock effect? Because I know you said something about how like you have to be over the top for people.
I mean, a lot of the stuff I wear is just straight ugly, but it's covered in logos that let you know how expensive it is, and people respond to it. Like I'm walking around with a Louis Vuitton bag because it's my most effective, functional, useful bag, and I can see people respecting it. But like my $5,500 Louis shoes, they probably basically, unless you're wearing monogram, the stuff can be so expensive that no one can respect it because they don't even realize how expensive it is. Like if I rock out here in like my green leather Prada, $10,000 set, that just looks like Gumby to them. Like there's no respect at all for it. And I understand that. Like I knew a lot to understand all of the designer stuff out there is a full-time job because it's too much. I mean, so there's brands, even if you're fashionable, I could list you brands that you don't know about, but you'd like them if you did know about them, Yeah, you can outdress, you can dress it such, it's like wearing a Patek Philippe watch. You're like, oh, it looks like a Timex. Cool.
Right.
And then you paid $50,000 to get Timex respect, unless you're in the right place. And the right place is like a watch nerd found you. Like you're on. Like when I was in Cannes shopping, I'm next to in the Gucci store. I'm like, hey man, nice Patek. And then I show him my like maxed out $1 million Rolex Rainbow. He's like, he knows. He knows his dick's smaller than mine. It's a dick measuring contest. Like you're like, yeah, my watch is $1 million. Your watch is like $70,000. You lose.
Do you think that's why like people have a problem with you? Is like it's the flex factor of it all too. I mean, you're always right about shit as it is, but it's like just to have it rubbed in their face that here you are like looking the way that you do.
I mean,
and maybe it's
I'm happy to rotate to whatever else works better, but in my analysis, I haven't found any superior means of on-ramping new users other than just being a prick in their face and irritating and harming them emotionally by showing them that they could be living a better life, but they're not. I am. You're such a fat piece of crap. No one wants diet advice from that fat piece of crap. Yeah, but I could still give it to you. You can ignore it if you want. I do. I ignore my own diet advice. But at least it's there. Maybe I'll accidentally do it one day. But the money advice and a lot of the other advice I give is just fabulous. So like can't believe I'm getting demon messages on my phone. It's just crazy to me.
That's the best part of the show so far. I got demonology in my inbox. Hey, I'm gonna get
The best part is when she says she doesn't recognize this demon that she dreamt of. Like it's a new name that she doesn't even know. And I'm
yeah.
It's funny how your brain will trick
names.
you.
Like you have other ones you're familiar with.
I mean, I could scroll, but there's a lot of. I'm afraid that you'll get reflections out of my eyes of some of the pictures they send.
And you know what? People get obsessed enough to do something like that. It's like going to focus in on it. Yeah. Let me throw some of these super chats out here. I got to catch up right quick. I'm thinking about building a Pulsechain project. Is there anything about the EVM or Solidity version I should know about?
No, I mean it's just basically Ethereum with some improvements, but none of those improvements are EVM or Solidity version improvements. Therefore, you know, you can build your stuff against the Pulsechain testnet now and have fun.
Yeah. Let's see. I got this. Miguel, this from Miguel. Is Hex better than Bitcoin?
No. Yes.
No. Yes.
On the hot seat now.
It's a big joke. It's a joke when Robert Kiyosaki asked me, "So is Hex better than Bitcoin?" And I was just so shocked. Robert Kiyosaki asked me that. I was like, I didn't even know he knew about
shocked I brought him on that show that one time.
Yeah, I was shocked he knew anything other past than Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then he just like, Miguel, is Hex better than Bitcoin? And I was like, yeah, it is.
You were so caught in the headlights, though. I think the community was like, "Oh man, you should have told them 10,000 things that were so much better." But yeah,
no, I thought it was gonna be a way different conversation because, like, I was like, "Oh, hey, Robert, hey, what's going on, man?" And then I was like, I was trying to bring hiccups to him, and then he just comes out of nowhere and hits me with that right hook.
Well, you have to think about it. Like, what are all these currencies really useful for? Really, you buy them, they go up in value. You sell them, and you're richer. That's our actual main utility.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that has the better price chart is probably the better thing to use. Now, there's exceptions. There's things that just go to zero. Scams. We don't like those. But, you know, let's say you want anonymity. How are you going to get anonymity in Bitcoin? You can't. Yeah. You can pretend. You can try. You can do coin join, coin mixing, also the crap that barely works and doesn't work. Or you can use Tornado.cash on Ethereum. So like you turn your Hex into Ethereum, then you run your Ethereum through Tornado.cash. Now it's anonymous. And now you send it to the exchange. But mind you, some exchanges just shut you down after you do that. So choose your exchange wisely. Some exchanges just ban you if you ever mix your coins, even though mixing is the only way to maintain your privacy, and privacy is a human right. So if you use your rights, you get your account closed. A little gross, a little sucky.
Mm-hmm.
I got this from Hexdex. He says, Richard's product, #Hex, allowed me to make the decision of being financially secure, and Pulsechain is going to be a game changer for many willing to do their own research.
I have a comment about that. You know, if whether Bitcoin is better or Hex is better, if you have it on a centralized exchange, if it is on a lending platform, it is being used, in my opinion, to short the thing you care about or push down potentially the price of the thing you care about because you no longer have control of that. So whether you have Bitcoin or Ethereum or some other token or NFT or something along those lines on a platform, they can do with it what they want to. What I love about Hex is the incentive is to hold it yourself. And the incentive is to do so through staking it. So if Richard has a chance to explain what he means about a truth engine, what is a truth engine? Because that's a great turn of phrase.
Well, I mean, it's real simple. I believe in meritocracy. So, you know, if you run the fastest race, you deserve first place. And if you make the maddest of gains and your price chart's the best, you deserve respect for that. And if you say you're going to lock up your coins for a certain amount of time, and your amount of time is longer than some other guy, you deserve more interest, a higher interest rate. It's meritocracy. But if you lie and you don't do what you said you're going to do, and you said you're going to lock your coins, but you unlock them before you should have, well, then you should pay a penalty. And who should that penalty reward? The people that did what they said they're going to do. So it's just a way to get everyone to do the right thing, the honest thing. I call it the truth engine, you know, and it's what the bank does too, by the way. The bank, if you lock up your money, they'll pay you a higher interest rate. If you lock it for longer, they pay a higher interest rate. And if you withdraw it early, they give you a penalty. And so I knew these were known good parameters from the legacy financial system.
All right, let me catch up here. The rest of these here, I got Jim Rat says Richard Hart and Rolo have changed my life forever. Thank you for being a positive role models in a world where everyone leads you astray. Scott, thank you, Scott. Let's see, Crypto King. Well, thanks for that. I don't know what that is in yen. Hex set me free, and I'm onboarding the U.S. Navy slowly but surely into the best performing asset in world history. Shout out to my veterans and active duty service members that are now Hexicans. Thank you very much, and loving it. Boom, boom, konnichiwa, Hex Asians in the house. There you go.
We have all these inside jokes people don't get.
I know.
Like the Konnichiwa one is one of them.
Nikki B, thanks for this. Richard Hart leveled up the lives of all my family and friends. We love him and are grateful for all that he has done. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Hex. RH is the GOAT. There you go. And then last but not least, I got this dude on here. Very good.
$500. Nice.
Thank you. I begun to use Hex's principles to start a business. My cousins and I have eliminated all the middlemen from our operation and are now growing, providing unprecedented value to our customers and taking our competitors' customers at will without resistance. Going to build an empire to protect these T-shares. Amazing teacher, Richard. Thank you.
$500 for that guy.
Wow. Yeah, to get that one out. That was great. Thank you.
What other coin communities handing out $500 like that?
I know. Thank you very much for that. I'm let's see what else I got one more here. Sarah Davis want to know where you can buy Hex.
So there's hex.com/buy, but we also, I guess I'll be breaking this news here. Hex is approved for, I believe, the largest United States credit card on-ramp, which is called Simplex out of Israel. And you can buy Hex. So for instance, like if you're on Trust Wallet, you can buy Hex by credit card there. So if she's doing smaller amounts, you may get like 2 or 3% less, but in a smaller amount, you probably don't care that much. Or you'd rather just be convenient. I think that she could either follow the instructions on hex.com/buy, or you can try out this new credit card thing, which will eventually be like added to the site. But right now it's just on, I guess, Trust Wallet or any different thing that already supports the Simplex kind of like credit card order form thing.
That's huge news. Damn.
Yeah, it's good news. It really is. I got to see where they're at on like actually adding it to the site. I'll check.
While you're doing that, I wanted to chime in. I was reasonably successful in real estate and networking and other like startup ventures and things like that. And if I never had bought any kind of crypto, I participated in 2017 with Bitcoin and the ICO stuff and Ethereum. But really, I've learned more from the community and from the good leadership of Richard, inspiration really, to where if it wasn't for crypto, I still would be very successful. So I think there's a lot to be gained from just association or learning curve, whether you like cryptocurrency or you don't, from this community. We give a lot. I
remember when Gary hated the adoption amplifier so much. He hated the idea of people being able to get Hex directly with no middlemen. Hated it because he thought that it would never get listed on an exchange. But actually, we need it. Like we're on the best exchange, the one that has no middleman, the on-chain one. It's like amazing.
It's funny because a lot of us have been around for several years, and we like to tout, that we were here from the beginning and things like that. And I say sometimes I was in the beginning, and then I said this will never get very big, and then I was out, and then I was back in. So it's a.
We've had some people come. We've had some people leave and come back. People like, oh, we're gonna do it on our own. We're going to build our own better Hex. Wrecked to zero. You're just like, hey, we've seen this before, guys. You probably don't want to do that. Like, you're going to lose all your money. And then people just lose all their money again and again.
Do you think there's a lot of tribalism in crypto? Do you think there's like a tribalist like mentality of these guys?
Sure, but like there is in everything. Like
Hex,
Ford versus Chevy, Apple versus Android. Your sports team versus any other sports team. Like This is what people do. It's not just the ticker symbols they buy.
It seems like it's transferring over to the crypto community. And I like I was saying, it's like they're pretty intense about it too.
Well, I mean, look, these are people's life savings, and
Yeah.
this stuff can and does go to zero. So being in the stuff that goes up a lot instead of the stuff that goes to zero is a really, really big deal. But the sad thing is that, like, there's a lot of Bitcoin maximalists out there that just don't care about reality. You're like, hey guys, do you have NFTs? No. Do you have on-chain exchange? No. Do you have stable coins? No. Do you have time deposit? No. Do you have anything? Can you program it to wake you up in the morning? No. Okay, well, what do you have? Like, do you have mad gains? No. You got a 3.5x your all-time high after 5 entire years, which is a third the existence of your whole thing. Your thing's not even 15 years old. So there's more than a third of the existence of the whole thing it took to do a 3.5x your all-time high. It's trash. It's trash. The world's richest guy already bought. Countries already bought. Everyone already bought. You're not an early adopter. It's top of its S-curve. But these guys with the laser eyes, they're just like immune to knowing what S-curves are. They're just immune. You're like, no, dude, you're not early. It's crazy.
I mean, weren't the Bitcoiners the people that were coming after you because you wanted to do upgrades to Ethereum? I mean, to a Bitcoin in terms of bigger blocks?
Yes. I mean, a larger block size was on the roadmap, and then they lied and just took it off. And now you just have smaller blocks and higher fees and lower throughput. And, everyone that's been in Bitcoin long enough leaves. Satoshi left. I left. Roger Ver left. Gavin Anderson left. Trace Meyer left. Eventually you leave it because it left you. It sucks. Like, I'm in this for mad gains. I'm in this for features. I'm in this for progress. And Bitcoin doesn't offer those things. Not to mention, Mt. Gox has 140,000 coins, which, by the way, is something like $4 billion. Let's do the math real quick. 140,000. This laptop I'm on sucks. Times, let's say it's 23,000, even though I haven't looked. That's $3 billion. So Mt. Gox is going to release $3 billion of Bitcoin. And then there's another $1.5 billion sitting in the Bitfinex hackers wallet that the United States Department of Justice seized. Mm-hmm. And then there's maybe another $1 billion, but I'm guessing on that one. And Ross Ulbricht's Silk Road seized stuff. There might be $3 billion there. I'm not sure. Well, guess what? There's no hacks in any of those wallets. The hackers didn't get any hacks when they hacked Bitfinex. When the DOJ busted the Finex hackers, they didn't get any hacks. When they took over the Silk Road guy, they didn't get any hacks. And so, like, the demographic breakdown of non-scumbag people and hacks is higher. Like, we have more non-scumbags. Like, we have less vulture capitalists. The Hex community is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, I have to ask this. Now we are, 47 minutes in? Okay, you have to tell me the Panama story.
I moved down to Panama. I was rich and retired in 2003, had 150 employees, was doing $60 million a year in sales and turnover, and retired, went down to Panama and got the shit robbed out of me. Mm-hmm. And almost everyone there that was like working for me was working an angle. And so after like losing so much, my house, my office, my $250,000 stereo system, my personal assistant was helping the criminals rob me. And then we were going to get him arrested. And then the day before he was arrested, they killed him and orphaned his kid. So, in the third world, the game is different. They want your stuff more than you want your stuff, and they're willing to take more risk to get it. So, left, decided I wouldn't spend any time in crappy countries anymore, started volunteering for charity, traveling the world. And I guess that's it. I mean,
what charities are you working with right now?
I raised $27.5 million for Strategies for Engineered Negligible Senescence, the SENS, like It Makes Sense Foundation. That's really the only one. I looked around at all the other charities and I didn't really like them. Oh my God, Richard. You're like, yeah, dude, I went to Charity Navigator and I started clicking page by page and I'm like, mosquito nets, water, mosquito nets, water, mosquito nets, water. And I'm like, everyone already does this. Like Bill Gates does this, Soros does this. These are not, they're not qualitatively different. They're not unique. I can't get outsized returns doing this thing. I can just get incremental, look, I put my little 27 million on top of their billion. it doesn't make a difference there. Kind of. So like people don't realize this. 40% of people die of cancer, 40% of people die of heart disease. If you cure cancer, people only live 3 years longer. If you cure heart disease, people only live 3 years longer. Why? Why is the result so pitiful? How can you only get 3 years by curing the thing that kills 40% of people? Because the thing doesn't cause itself. The thing is caused by a decaying system. And if you cure that pathology, you just get the next one down the list. And so when the system is decaying and falling apart, if you cure heart disease, it's cool, you just get strokes. If you cure strokes, cool, you just get cancer. And then, so what you learn is that if you can prevent the decay of the system by 3.5 years through any means necessary, whether it be lifestyle modification or diet or a pill, whether it's metformin or NMN or whatever, it's you can get more quality of life and lifespan and health span for a person that way than by like curing one of the individual things. But that's what all the money goes to. Like the most successful charity is breast cancer. And you're like, it's only worth 3 years, guys. And, you know, it's probably worth less statistically because it's primarily a girl thing and girls are only half of people. So it's, I think that delaying and repairing the onset of damage is worth more than curing any specific pathology. No one knows these numbers. Like if I would have asked you, you would have all guessed you would live 20 years longer.
I would have to go Google that. Yeah. I'm sure
I tell you these are facts because the insurance companies, if you want to look up the actual actuarial table by which this is derived, it's called increase in life expectancy by elimination of cause of death. And you'll arrive at these same 3 years by getting rid of cancer numbers. And it's different depending on the country that you're in, but these are United States numbers. And if you're in Africa, you might just die so early that you don't get old enough to get cancer.
Right. Shut out malaria.
Gary, did we have any other questions from the pre-show?
Most are asking. We have a convention that happens, a Pulsechain or PulseCon in Las Vegas in September. They ask about that. Obviously, timing of Pulsechain launch, and then they also ask about this movie that's coming out. This documentary. So they're asking about that timeline.
Have you seen like the latest, like that one we just shot in the castle? I was just in Paris. I bought $1 million, not Paris, but Cannes, France, about 30 minutes outside of it. I bought $1 million of Bulgari jewelry out there just for fun. Looks so awesome. Looks so good. I didn't bring any of my expensive stuff to America because when I get robbed and killed here, I don't feel like I'm actually profiting very much. I didn't bring a laptop even. I borrowed my friend's crap laptop I'm on now. We were at a giant castle out there, and a Hexagon named Art had paid about $500,000 to have a piece of art commissioned and flown on a private jet with the artist out to come see me in this castle outside Cannes. And this artist is the most licensed artist in history, and I believe he sold $250 million of his own art last year. And he's met the Pope, he's met 6 presidents. You know, this guy is up atop the art field as you can possibly get. His name's Romero Brito. And how cool is that? That Hexagons love me and the products that I've built so much that they're willing to chuck $500,000 at just like giving me a gift. It's probably the best gift I've got. I'd say the second best gift is my giant hex necklace, which I don't have with me. But like, yeah, like anybody that wants to fly in a private jet to deliver me a gift is more than welcome to come say hello.
What do you think of let's say, I'm supposed to ask, what else do I have?
And that's all in the documentary, by the way, is the whole reason I mentioned all that stuff. Like the documentary is going to be really sick. It should come out before the end of the year.
Beautiful.
Yeah. What do you think of polyamory?
I don't like it at all. I think it's garbage.
You wanted me to ask you about Andrew, if you're familiar with Andrew Tate, and what are your feelings on polyamory?
I mean, see, I just avoid all of these words so much. So like polyamory in general is extremely cringe, weird people being cringe with each other, in my experience. It's like going to a swingers party. You go to a swingers party and you're like, you are all ancient and fat. And I hope none of you actually has any sex with any of the others of you. And I cannot wait to leave here as quickly as possible. This is terrible. So it's like sex you don't want, but lots more of it. No, I don't want more of sex I don't want. I just want good stuff. This all sucks. All of you people go home. But like, so I think if you look at the animal kingdom for clues, you'll find a lot of one guy hooking up with lots of girls. Mm-hmm. And I think you'll also find all the girls only liking one guy. Because people forget this is bidirectional. So this frame that it has to always be the guy doing all the work and like the girl gets to choose and all this stuff. I'm trying to like condition people out of this frame because the frame sucks and it's not true. So let's take gorillas. Gorillas, one dude gets all the chicks. Lion, one dude gets all the chicks. There's all kinds of animals where one dude gets all the chicks. And those animals do very well. And I think that you'll find that human societies, all the girls want the same guy. Now, who that guy is, maybe it's Justin Bieber when they're younger. Maybe when they're older, it's Pierce Brosnan, and then like they chart this stuff. So like if you look at OkCupid profiles and rating systems, guys give the actual literal average girl an actual literal rating. Like our ratings are accurate. Like if you say a girl's a 5, she's a 5. Mm-hmm. And then girls give all the guys like 1, and then like this one guy gets like 10s from everybody. And there's like no middle ground. And so if you think about how this evolved as a strategy and why it exists the way that it does, men are disposable. We're less likely to have children.
True.
So we have to make up for that by increasing the quantity of partners. And by the way, this is all like animal kingdom stuff.
Yeah.
Contraception broke all of this. So like contraception made all of this irrelevant, but like we're still using the old program, just like calories. Calories used to be rare, not rare anymore. So I'm fat as heck. I'm wearing a 3XL shirt. And the same thing goes with your evolutionary psychology.
Yep.
So in an environment where if a woman chooses the wrong guy, she dies. Woman chooses the wrong guy, gets pregnant. Guy's like, screw this, I'm out. She starves to death. She can't fend for herself. She can't protect herself. She can't get food. She's gigantic. She needs the group to protect her. She needs her partner to protect her. It's a life or death issue 1,000 years ago. Life or death.
Women are the vulnerable sex.
Yep, true. And so they make up for their physical vulnerability by getting the social right. They get their strength from other people, which is why they work so much on being attractive. A large portion of their day is based on manipulating other people quietly. So they're going to be prettier. Okay, to what effect? Manipulates people. Period. Right? Why are you wearing a fake makeup face? Why are you wearing fake hair? Why are you wearing fake nails? Why are you wearing heels that make you taller? Why is your hair fake? Why are you mostly fake? To manipulate other people, to get better responses out of them. But it's quiet, because quiet's even more manipulative. Like I was saying, if it seems like you're trying, you don't get credit for it. But if it just is there without trying, you get credit for it. So, it was an effective strategy for the fairer sex to test emotionally the guys to make sure they got the right guy. And so that one way to do that is to periodically stress test guys by getting angry during your period. And the guys that could take that might be able to take you getting pregnant. So if they can't take the period, they probably really can't take the pregnant. And it's a way to make sure that you got the right guy. And what other ways can you make sure you got the right guy? And this all goes back, like as we go through this, if it's an 18-year commitment for you when you have a kid with somebody, wouldn't you really, really, really want to make sure you did the best you could? Wouldn't you be really choosy? And even with contraception, or like even with adoption, let's say, you're still in for like a year or a year and a half. I think it takes, how long does it even take to have a kid? sad that I don't remember this. 9 months.
9 months to gestate and bring it up. Yeah, and then the other thing is you've got another at least 7 or 8 years before that kid is at least self-sufficient enough to either like run away or feed itself, like in the back in our ancestral.
Yeah, you ready for this? This is one of my crowning achievements that I'm very proud of. So I invented Hart's Law, which describes why all prices of cryptocurrencies move up and down with each other usually. It states that the price of two assets will move up. The prices of assets that trade against each other are bound by the liquidity in their order books. So because you can exchange a Bitcoin for an Ethereum, when one goes up, they both go up because they're interchangeable with each other. But then you could break that by eating through all the liquidity in the order book. It's a really unique and interesting and smart way to understand why all these prices move up and down naturally with each other. One of my biggest breakthroughs in kind of the male-female relationship stuff is that timing, stress, women being angry during periods being a good stress test. And banks have stress tests apparently for safety, and so do relationships, I think. And then the second one is that 7-year number. Now, why is it that everyone's relationship is over at 7?
7-year itch, yeah.
The reason is because it takes that long for the kid to be able to get going on its own. And so if we have sex to create variety, what else creates variety? A new partner. So male and female combining creates variety, and new partner creates variety. And what is the correct cycle to get new partners? And reality's already figured that out for us. It's 7 years. But truthfully, declaring it dead at 7, it really died at 6. And you fought for 7 until you figured out that it was really just done.
Yeah, that's statistically that's true too, because people couples tend to break up at the 7-year mark and then again at the 20-year mark, and the 20-year mark is like the empty nester phase at that point.
Yeah, so like I think that's one of my best male-female analysis is like when your relationship's dead at 6, it's not your fault. It's meant to be dead. Like you're supposed to cycle your partners every once in a while, and this is the rate at which you're supposed to cycle them, and that explains why the same reasons why your girl fell in love with you in the first place are the same reasons she's going to fall out of love with you now. It just means that she's a properly functioning human being. Oh, but my grandparents have been together 20 years. People are as faithful as their options. They probably just didn't have better options, all right? If your granddaddy had a 6-pack, he wouldn't have went 15 years with a chick like.
I'll tell you, I'll give you something else to think about, because I know you were talking about like the stress test side of this whole thing. One of the things that I've as far as my work is concerned, and the things that I've been reading about, there's a evolutionary psychologist named Marty Hazelton. And she was proposing this is like, when women go into sort of PMS, they go through the menstrual cycle, and in the what's called the proliferative phase, right before ovulation, that's when women are looking for the guy with the more masculine facial features, are looking for a guy who's like sort of like looks like Jason Momoa, right? And then once they get past the ovulatory phase, especially if they've already had sex or they're on like hormonal birth control or whatever, then they go into sort of what's called the luteal phase. And at the luteal phase, something else happens. And it's usually when you get like their beta boyfriends or the guys who are their orbiters get the call, and they want some comfort, and they want the guys with the more, feminine facial features, or they call their girlfriends and they're looking for like sort of comfort. They go through this emotional cycle as a part of that. And what happens is then more guys who are more like on the beta side of the spectrum here, like they're the ones who want to be nurturing. It's okay. He's a jerk. You don't want to have anything to do with him. And they try to sort of work their way in there and be cool with
Milady.
Yeah, exactly.
Time for the white knights to show up.
There it is.
One of the things that she says though is this, and this, I thought this was really fascinating, is that when women PMS, when they like start to get real bitchy as they're sort of going through menesis, she proposed this, is that's sort of like, they go through this nesting phase where they're looking for comfort, and then it doesn't happen. Like the baby doesn't come, right? Because she's going back through the cycle again. And so the PMS phase where she's like getting bitchy is pushing all of those beta guys away and being like a bitch to everyone, so that she can go back into the proliferative phase and then be more about the alpha male, Jason Momoa kind of guy again, and then the cycle repeats itself. So she was proposing anyway, and this is just theory, by the way. I don't know about any research on this, but the theory is that when women go through PMS, the function of it, the evolutionary function of it, is to push away all the beta orbiters that came in to help her when she was, thought she was pregnant, or the body thinks that it's pregnant, and she goes goes into this kind of like, like micro stage of like nesting, and then there's no baby, and so therefore it flushes it out, and she's got to push all these blue pill chumps away from them so she can come back into like sort of the alpha phase again.
You guys, you're gonna get fucking cancel cultured, bro. Like I would.
Why I go by Rolo Tomasi.
Shout out to my boy Rolo.
One of these,
No,
like,
exactly.
words I would drop. Like, I just, I don't know what it is. I guess the difference between getting cancel cultured and not, it just takes a couple words, and then those are the words that they murder you with. And I'm just so damn good that I ain't never saying the words. So good luck. Like if I'm getting cancel cultured, it ain't because I said the wrong thing grammatically, I have been canceled off of YouTube 3 or 4 times, but they keep putting me back. I mean, like, I just want to make people happy. And I think that you can't make a woman happy unless you know her better than she knows herself, because look where she got with her knowledge, like you can't give, if you give people what they want, it's oftentimes not as good as giving them what they should want or what they really want. It's like trying to ask somebody what the best way to sell them something is. They're never going to tell you limited time offer, but in reality it's probably limited time offer. And so the person that's buying isn't the right person to tell you how to sell, even though they're on the same transaction. And the person that's like consuming your male energy isn't the best person to tell you how to be attractive. Like taking people's advice, like be yourself. Hell no. No, yourself sucks. Do not be yourself. You need to change who you are and what you do and how you dress and how you act and how strong you are and how much money you have, and you need to be a better human being. Screw yourself. Yourself.
Rich, but I have to be more confident in myself, man.
Yeah, dude. Be confident in stuff that sucks. I mean, look, Hexicans, like, if you've looked, most of the Hexicans on this panel are jacked. Like, these dudes can lift weight, like these are not bitch boys. These are in the gym, eating protein, lifting weight dudes. I do that occasionally. I'm out of the habit a little bit, but I'm too busy using what I got to like build more right now, because summer's, not going to last much longer.
Yeah. When more deadlift videos, man? What's going on?
Right?
I haven't seen one in a bit, bro.
It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
What's your take on OnlyFans?
I think it's OnlyFans is weird to me. So
why do you think it's so popular with guys like incels and chumps and everything? Good.
I really have no idea. That's so weird to me. I've never paid for porn in my life that I can remember. Never. It's like, it's on the internet. You don't know how to search properly. Like, it's all free. Richard, you're violating IP. Maybe. I don't know. It's free. I don't know why you would pay to be a chump. You're like, hey. So it's just like going to a strip club. Like when a dancer likes me, I am not going back to that club if I can avoid it. Because from her perspective, like, her ideal thing is to turn you into regular and punk you and get all your money. And then when the club closes, go to that dude's house. And that dude is me. So you don't ever want to become a regular, and you don't ever want there to be a financial incentive to dislike you or to not hang out with you. So if she's making money on you at the club, why would she come bang you for free when she can come tease you and get paid? Right? And like, you need to structure that game. So like, I'll just say, like, look, you were fun. That was nice and all. I'm never going to see you again, ever. So here's my number. Call me if you want to have fun. Otherwise, we ain't never seen each other again. And sometimes the phone rings, sometimes it don't. But like, if you don't set that very firmly, they will turn you into an orbiter. You will get punked for cash, and then they will go have someone with fun that would never pay for it. Because why would they? They've got options, Paying for sex is crap. Like, you want bad sex? Pay for it. It's bad. It's just, free sex is better. So OnlyFans is like, hey, you could be having sex, but you're not. But you're paying the same or more.
Monthly.
So,
monthly. Yeah, exactly.
Why? Why would you pay more for less and like just lower your standards? like go have lower standards and you could have more fun. I haven't been able to do that. Like I keep standards that are unreasonable for my body type, but I'd make up for it with just saying hi to more people.
Yeah.
And or being a god.
It must be tough for you to like actually like trust women who are like actually into you or interested in you, as opposed
I swear
to
to
like
God, they don't run any game on me. I don't understand it. They don't give a shit about my money. They do not care at all. They don't care. But like think about it this way: like if you hang out with dancers, they've already got a lot of money. They don't have to dance. They could go be coffee shop employees or secretaries. They don't have to go show their butts for money. But they usually, in my experience, they like looking at other girls naked, and they like the attention, and they like dancing, and like it just fits their lifestyle, you know. And they like working a night schedule, and all the extra money is just extra, you know. But I don't know. Like my theory on this, I don't know how it works out for other people, but my theory on it is that people respect my take no prisoners kind of attitude, that they don't even bother trying to game me. They don't even like bother to ask because they know the question's no. Like the amount of times I get asked for money on the internet is extremely few, is compared to like what it should be. Like, because you'd think I would get asked for money like every day. I even have like I make people rich in my profile. But Richard, doesn't that sound like expectation of profit from the work of others? It's like the person I'm making rich is my jewelry dealer, so don't worry about it. You know, like I don't understand why I don't get more gold diggers. I should, like, my DM should be exploding. But it really, like, as far as girls go, it is exactly the same game as it has always been, with absolutely no improvements whatsoever. And I kind of feel bad about that. I'm going to find a way to turn my money into better sensual experience by just buying everything. Like, then I'm going to, like, my next thing that I'm thinking I'm going to do, like my IRL thing, is either Richard Hart Museum, which sounds lame as crap, but maybe it works for Outrage. But what's probably more likely going to happen is like all my cars on the first floor, nightclub floors 2 and 3, and then mansion fun stuff floors above that, dead center, you know, in some European capital city. I think that's the plan currently. Just got to find the right buildings zoned for it. And then, you know, I'm kind of worried about the club thing, because do you remember that time you were in the club and saw the dude that owned the club killing it and having so much fun with those really hot chicks? Do you remember that time? Nope. Not once. Not a single time in my entire life of going out every single night for years did I ever see the owner of any club anywhere ever actually having fun in the club. Ever. Never. Never, 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 never. Now that makes me think that there's some hidden edge case whereby which it's actually a terrible idea and will not work. Not sure exactly how this fails. I guess I'm going to pay a lot to find out. I maybe should interview some of the other guys I know that own clubs, but like, I don't know. Isn't that weird? Like, yeah. All dudes are like, dude, I want to start a club so I get laid, and I want to be like a photographer too. I want to be a club photographer guy.
The DJ.
Oh yeah, and the DJ. The DJs actually do good, so that one kind of makes sense. As a photographer, you're not getting laid at all. By the way, all you guys watching, you are not going to get laid as a photographer. I've tried this. Okay, all the girls that show up have all their boyfriends and the queue of orbiters they've been hanging on to for years. You're getting in at the very end of that queue. It is not going to work out. And by the way, taking pictures suck. Like, everyone else's pictures are as good as yours, or if you want to beat them, you have to work harder hours with different equipment from a different angle. It just sucks. It is played out. Screw photography. I don't care about it at all. I have like the best camera you can buy, and I still just use my cell phone to take pictures of myself, to pump myself on social media. That has utility to me. Pictures of me have utility. Pictures of the rest of the world do not. If I'm not in the picture sucks. But I went decades without knowing that. Like, I thought like, oh, let's go document everything. Nope, you'll never look at those pictures. No one cares. And everyone else's are better than yours. So good luck. Yeah, so like, I don't know why owning a club and then having fun in that club doesn't work. I guess I'm going to find out
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
I have a
I
question.
am not going to go. I'm not going to die without finding a way for turning this money into something a lot more fun and exciting for myself. Because right now it has not improved a single thing. Oh, cool! I have $10 million of watches that sit in a bank vault. Cool, man. And girls don't give a crap. They don't care. And my two most expensive Rolexes ever made are way less cool. Like my $1.4 million and $800,000 Rolexes are way less cool than my $250,000. I'm just like, I don't know, dude. Life's unfair to me. I have it really rough, you know? This is a very sad stream with poor Richard Hart.
Gary, you had something?
Well, it comes to the flexing thing. Richard's been in a couple of Twitter spaces. Whenever he comes into a Twitter space, thousands of people have the same kind of question. And one of which, kind of appropriate, is if a woman is going to get married, she gets an engagement ring. She likes to flex that ring. You know, it's the statement of value in her mind.
Yep.
Richard likes to flex with his wristwatches. You know, $10 million worth of wristwatches, but he really pushes against the NFT community, if that's a community. Recently, he was in a Twitter space. Someone had said that they had a $4.6 million NFT, and I actually heard Richard pause because they said the same thing that he says. It's flex value, it's entrance, it's a smaller click. I get deals out of it, like I get network. Has he changed his position about NFTs at all?
You could, how do I phrase this? If you wanted to waste $4.6 million to meet somebody, you could meet 10 people and give each of them $500,000 to say hi to them. And your cost basis would be the same. The question is, what is the long-term value of a serial number loosely related to a monkey picture, which may or may not still be hosted on the internet? I think the fair market value is near zero. The real market thinks it's much higher. That may resolve over time much lower than it is today. I believe in efficiency, and I don't think you making a terrible investment is a good way to meet other people that also have made terrible investments. I think you can do that at the bar. So I would rather see you buy a Ferrari and go to Ferrari meetups, or a Lambo and go to Lambo meetups, or golf at a more expensive golf course, or become a male prostitute and start sucking these guys off. I don't know. But I am not going to make a bad investment to go say hi to other people. I won't.
So you think it's more of a social?
It's just like, I run into this with education reform all the time. I say, hey, we're teaching kids a lot of stuff they're going to forget. You don't remember it. Okay, you ready, guys? It's quiz time. Who here went to elementary school? Okay. And what are the order of the planets from the sun? Does anyone know?
Mercury.
And we're smart.
Mars, Earth.
You got it wrong.
No, Earth is the third. God, I don't know.
You got that one right.
And we're smart.
I was close.
You know what I'm saying?
Mercury, Venus, and Earth, and then Mars. That's
Yep.
pretty sure that's it.
He's farthest along now. Yeah. It's Mary Virginia eats many jam sandwiches under Ned's porch is the mnemonic technique I remember them by. But like, obviously not worth teaching anybody, because we're well-functioning adult humans and we do not ever need that information ever. And it's alongside tons of other info of the same vein. And so by that token, what I'm saying is we should change what we teach people so that what they're being taught is maximum utility, stuff they will use, stuff that is important, how to give a good apology, how not to get scammed, how to have good posture, you know, all the stuff that you know matters. Instead of stuff that doesn't. The order of the planets from the sun. No one cares. Star sign, or like the majority of stuff they teach you is entirely useless. You'll never, ever, ever use it. And they say, oh, but you know, we have to teach them this so they learn how to learn. And you're like, no, you can just teach them the other better stuff and they'll learn how to learn. And it's the same with this NFT thing. Like, I'm emotionally crippled as a human and can't meet people, so I have to pay $4 million to get over my learning how to meet people problem. No, you could just do it without the monkey picture in a more efficient manner that has more lasting value. Like I don't think that these meme coins and I mean a monkey picture is just a different kind of meme coin. You're like it's a lower supply meme coin. Like the supply is 10,000 instead of like I think there's 10,000 monkey pictures in total and like the most popular monkey picture thing. And so you're just playing a shit coin that has 10,000 supply. And
but
then
aren't you making
randomly
NFTs better on Pulsechain?
Yeah, NFTs are going to be better in Pulsechain, and I will turn the world's largest diamond into an NFT. As much as I don't like the things, I have angles to make mine better than others. I still don't think it's as good as buying something that's not an NFT. But let's see. So my point is, there's these like weird, weak arguments that sound compelling but shouldn't be. And like I overpaid for things so I could meet people could defend anything. It's like I beat my wife so I could meet people in anger management class. Oh, cool. Well, I guess meeting people is good. So yeah, okay, I guess that all makes sense. And it's just this like, it's this hacky way to defend any behavior, which I don't like. I get to meet people.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good way to support.
Miguel, you were just on Fresh and Fit talking about NFTs, and I have to actually explain that I do actually. My Rocky and I both have an NFT, but we have an NFT with a purpose. But like Miguel, what were you talking about on Fresh and Fit when it came to NFTs? You don't generally like them for
the most part. Yeah, I don't like them because I mean a lot of the people who make them, it's just a cash grab for the most part, and they don't really plan on doing anything more with it. So they're just launching some art, and they just hire a couple people to run a Discord for a little bit, and then they slowly just walk away with everyone's money. That's usually what all it really is. Sometimes they can just keep building more and more with it. With like, if you hold this NFT, we'll give you another NFT. But most NFT projects are super lazy. They don't do anything. I mean, it's just well, I just launched this one. Now I'm going to a new project, and then all the previous users from there are pretty much like the liquidity just dries up, and they can't even sell. Like the NFT can be priced for like 2-3 Ethereum, but they can't even sell it at that point because there's no buyers anymore. So it's like they got rugged because there's no
zero bid.
Yeah. But then there is NFTs. There is a couple NFTs I do. I mean, I do like the Red Pill lines and stuff because I mean they are building a community, and then they stick. It's all about using that money to then actually better a cause and stuff. But it's far and few between kind of these. I mean, I can only think of maybe like 3, like that are even doing that. And Red Pill lines is one of them for sure.
Right. Well, and again, I think it's also what the intent is behind it. I mean, yeah, there's red pills. There's going to be get rich quick. I brought Rocky on here because I wanted him to explain why it is we started this in the first place. Because we ate a lot of shit when we started this off, but it's like we had a purpose behind it. So, like Rocky, you want to tell Richard why we started doing this in the first place?
Yes, I don't really shy away from the NFT stigma because it's something that people get because they've seen all the other projects that have rugged and done whatever the fuck they want to do with their different projects that they kind of just fuck people over with, or even like he was saying with those projects that have NFTs that sell for 4 million, 5 million, which is literally fucking ridiculous. So this is a project that's not really intended to get to that kind of scale anyway. And the whole goal was we're in a community where we talk about money, muscles, and game, and you get game from Rolo and his books. And I kind of wanted to introduce a lot of people in the Red Pill space to crypto, and ETH was a great place to start with NFTs because it was the easiest way to get people as a community to dip their toes in to cryptocurrency and Ethereum. And I wanted it to be in something that had the least likelihood to go to zero, so their small initial investment was safe. And then after you get the idea going with that, and then there's other feminist projects that put on for women that we kind of wanted to push against, but the main bread and butter of it is to involve the community in what we're doing. And so we gain capital instead of doing.
Hold on. You got to go back on that feminist project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go back to that real quick.
And throw in Logan Paul while you're there.
So there are a lot of different types of projects that are tailored for the women community in different ways. There are some that do it just to kind of support women, which I don't really have a problem with, but there are a lot of projects that are created and communitized to kind of push back against masculinity and really take advantage of simps, of people. I don't know, we're on Twitch, of people that
It's all right.
really are a target niche for women. And so there's projects like Simp DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, and Simp NFTs that a lot of them are like, it's literally just like OnlyFans, but an NFT version. So literally there's one project that we talked about. I think it was not Irene DAOs. I forget. We had a whole podcast on this where they had NFTs that were scandalous pictures of women. They weren't naked, but basically OnlyFans girls. And basically the whole purpose of these NFTs had no utility, was if you're a fan of mine and you think I'm attractive, which is the whole basis of buying the NFT, is basically join my simp community. And they were branding it as simp. What was it? Simplistic, pathetic. I forget the whole acronym, but it was like pathetic men. And it's really weird the way they pushed it. So like when he was talking about how
this sounds like it was designed by a guy, dude.
And there is some that were designed by guys. There's there are some that were designed by guys, but women also see the blood in the water aspect of knowing where money is, so they create it themselves. So we wanted
this is like one of those issues where it's like, if you believe in freedom, then you're gonna have people doing really stupid stuff. And so like there is a findom community that wants to be abused for money.
Yeah.
They want to be pay pigs and human ATMs, and you're just like, God dang.
And they want to build a community.
Woo!
Well,
Pay pigs.
I wanted to kind of pull people away from that. And there's a lot of people in the crypto space that are, you can, I guess, categorize as beta. There's a lot of people that are turning into the red pill space, going from their beta days. And I kind of just wanted to create something where not only are you investing in red pill projects, you get to be a part of them. So we're shooting a documentary.
I think y'all gonna get burnt on all this language, dude. I think you're all gonna get cancel cultured for all of these words you're using.
We may. I'm not really afraid of it. I respect that. But the community aspect of bringing them in to do this with us. So we're making our documentary with Rolo that they're also funding through this project, because all the money's going back into the project and into those red pill projects. And basically the community aspect of including them, so they get to be in the documentary. We flew members out to Miami not only to come meet Rolo, but to come to the what was it, the Conference of Masculine Excellence, the CME, and they got to meet and also get educated in a lot of the stuff that we speak about. And it's a space where we want to have men be able to learn, kind of have a space for locker room talk, where that's very frowned upon today. And
I think it's funny that you guys like spend all your time hanging out with dudes, and I literally avoid dudes like they're cancer. Like I'm like, I do not want to.
I understand now.
Near any guys at all.
Yeah, well, there's a community that we think could use a little bit of a support in a way that Rolo's whole brand is kind of based around. So when we tied in finances to the money, muscles, and game, I thought it'd be a nice step into crypto. And basically through all of it, all the utilities, which is our main purpose, and the community, if they can make an ROI on their investment, once they're like, okay, I've experienced some utilities, I had some fun with it, I got to learn about ETH, I got to learn about NFTs, then I can kind of sell it and move on, and you gained knowledge from it. That's pretty much our main goal of it. So it's not something that we want to blow through the stratosphere and be like Bored Ape and other projects, because as you were saying before, it's just so fake and disingenuous. We just kind of want to like bring the community together and also introduce them to crypto.
That's one of the reasons I was asking about OnlyFans, because I'm seeing like, simp tokens, and this, like, it's a badge of membership. But then like, and like Richard was saying, it was like, why would you spend a small fortune on your OnlyFans girls in tournament? And I've got this question before. I think I was on Fresh and Fit when I was answering this, and it was like, I had girls ask me this. They said, why is OnlyFans like so popular amongst guys? And I'm like, because you can go, if you need to get off, you can do it for free online if you want to. But I think really what it is these guys want that connection. They don't have any. It's the idea that maybe there's somebody out there that it's actually going to like give them the time of day, or say, honey, how was your day? The most successful strippers in the club are the ones that like pretend at least that they're familiar with you the moment you walk into the club.
Yeah, so it's not individualized.
Yeah, it's not so much about like the idea of like, oh well, you know, it's about sex or it's I can go get off. I mean, yeah, there's a sexual aspect of the OnlyFans girls, but the most successful OnlyFans girls are the ones that like they're not like the super big tip, blonde hair, blue eyed, centerfold models. They're the ones that look like they're a 7 or an 8 and the girl next door kind of thing. So they look almost like attainable. And so you've got that interaction there where it's like it seems more genuine until such time as they prove that it isn't, and then they move on to the next one. So it's like recycling that.
I think there's two types. Go ahead, Miguel.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'll just say this real quick. I think there's two types of OnlyFans purchasers. I think there's the dudes that are really down bad that really love like the inclusiveness of it, which is really odd. And I also think there's those high school kids that, okay, say there's a girl that you always liked and you always wanted to have sex with her and never got the chance to, and she made an OnlyFans. And you're like, oh, I wonder what she looks like naked. There's still no point because you're just feeding money into this endless loop of like, I've seen girls that wanted to go to college and do all this important shit, make a lot of early money doing OnlyFans, charging $50, $60 a month. And I've talked to them. It's ridiculous. And they kind of just abandon all their dreams. And they're like, well, I'm going to be a professional Instagram hoe on OnlyFans.
It makes you wonder, like, but we also live in this world where people are buying like hats in Team Fortress 2 and skins and CSGO and just otherwise wasting all their money. And you're like, I don't know, what's worse, an OnlyFans account? I don't even know what you get out of that versus a hat in Team Fortress 2. A lot of people wasting money out there in the world, man.
Maybe it's just the fusion of attention and money just coming together finally, or it's starting to.
Does anyone know what you actually get? Like, what do you actually get as an OnlyFans subscriber?
I'm very proud to say I don't.
It's got to be photos. I'm assuming
interactivity. Honestly, I think it's like the ability to like.
I think you get exclusive photos.
But is there a chat?
Well, you look at Bella Thorne when she was on OnlyFans. I mean, she was promised like nudes. Like, what was this, like back in 2020 or 2021? I think she was like, I'm going to go on OnlyFans, and you're going to get nudes, quote unquote nudes, and it never really materialized. And she made like $2 million inside of like 48 hours, 36 hours, something like that.
That's fucking
just with the promise of it, and then like the pictures ended up being like black and white side boob shots of Bella Thorne.
Yeah, shout out to her bathwater though.
She actually got a lot of pushback from the OnlyFans people that were making their income from that, and they said that she threw them under the bus because the chargeback was something like $2 or $3 million. People that complained and said that they didn't get whatever Bella had promised, they did a chargeback, and then OnlyFans, the platform, actually changed the whole system based on the complaints of the patrons.
Yeah,
I think if you're going to overpay someone for titties, they should at least get the titties.
Yeah, it's not as black and white side boob shots. That's true. Hey, let me get to some of these super chats here. I got a lot of them I got to get back to. Rags to Riches says, glad your mom is okay, man. Thanks for showing up for the community when you're probably physically and emotionally drained. Yeah,
I'm happy my mom's alive. Like, I thought, my mom messages me and she says, hey, I'm in the hospital. I had a urinary tract infection. It went septic. And, you should get the will done. And I'm like, what? The will? Why? I guess. And I Googled it and I'm like, oh, 30 or 40% death rate. I'm like, okay. Depending on how quick they get the antibiotics in there. And so I'm like, hopping on an airplane. Here I come. Boy, these airplanes, sometimes they get some delays, I tell you. A lot of delays. Fly private. Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's not easy. And, but like, she's alive and taking her medicine. As long as the antibiotics do what they're designed to do, then my mom probably will survive until the next terrible thing. Because when you're as old as she is in her 60s, like, terrible things are the flavor of the day all the time. So I'm just, I'm getting to hang out with my live mom instead of having to go pick out caskets. I guess I'm happy about it.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. My mom passed away in 2020 during COVID, and I was not able to be there thanks to the assisted living facility that would not let anyone in thanks to the lockdowns. And so, yeah, that's a real sore subject, but still, it's good to be with your mom. It's good to be, both my mom and my dad are gone now, but like whenever I'm talking to like fresh. You know, I'm like we're literally sitting in the Lambo going to like the Off-White store. And I'm like, when's the last time you talked to your mom? You know, and we have this sort of like, you know, really kind of deep conversation about like our families and all that stuff. And it's like, so what we did was we called his mom and we did like a live stream, we did a FaceTime with her, like from like, it was the most surreal thing was going off, you know, driving through Brickell in a Lambo, talking to his mom, who's in Barbados. Yeah, it was amazing.
And she loves you too.
Yeah, she does. She still loves, and I love her too. Dolomite Hex says, Hex is perfect, full-time dad here. Thank you. What else I got? Richard, just want to say thanks.
My pleasure. $100. These guys love you.
I don't
You're getting
know.
rich on this stream. Talk about OnlyFans. You're making more money than
I know, man.
Only Rolo, baby. Only Rolo.
Yeah,
There's no city.
There's no cities. Yeah, I don't.
There you go.
There's a lot of opportunity in Hex, dude. There's only 100,000 stakers. That's it. It's
yeah.
Like nothing. Yeah, that's like pre-viral.
Richard, I need to pay my heating bill. When is Pulsechain launching, man? Come on, let's go. When's the launch?
I don't know, dude.
A lot of the questions also were about from the stream earlier before the show was about this wallet concept. You know, I know Richard has made comment to the community about vertical integration. Can you explain what vertical integration means?
I never want a user to see other people's trash products. So every time someone goes to a coin ranking site and looks at a bunch of coins, there's a chance that they're going to buy something that sucks. And so vertical integration increases efficiency. And in this case, it's kind of attention span efficiency, the economy of attention. So if you have the wallet, the trading, the consensus network, and the value storage all in the same place, you don't need to go other places. And it helps the community be unscammed. So that's the idea, is, you know, you don't have all this bad things attacking your users because your users are immune to them because they don't see them. Like, for instance, Mt. Gox Hex not affected. All these things that you see that are terrible happening all the time, like Hex not affected, you know? So we just want more of that for everybody.
To add on to that, can you comment about what features you would require before you would release such a wallet that is different than what we already have?
I haven't thought about minimum viable product on it. That's a good question. I mean, is secure and works with Hex would be probably enough. But I mean, what's the downside to having like a minimum viable? Like, if you can store your Hex and it can do it securely, there you go. You know, that's probably the minimum viable for me. It's a pretty low bar.
Is the wallet going to have like an in-browser sort of like aggregator to like purchase all tokens?
Yeah, I think that's the most profitable thing that it could have. That's where MetaMask makes all their money. So that's probably how that will work. Yeah.
You're probably gonna have way better fees anyway. Shout out Pulsechain.
Usually. Usually. My hair looks great today, doesn't it?
Fantastic.
I picked up this light.
Is that all your natural hair, or have you had like hair replacement surgery?
I wake up in the morning. I don't use gel. I don't use a hair dryer. I don't use a comb. I don't use a brush. I don't use anything. I literally wake up and it looks like this.
There it is.
There's no plugs. There's no fills. There's nothing. It's 100% pure, natural, awesome.
How old are you?
I love it.
How old are you now?
42.
Wow.
But if I shave all this crap, I want to shave all this off. I look 20 years younger, literally.
You look better with a beard, dude.
Well, it's this white tip, and I don't feel like dyeing it, man. It's just too much effort. I look younger without it. Yes, I look better with it, but I look way older. And when you talk about like old guy at the club syndrome, I am the old guy at the club, and shaving this beard off helps a lot. So I'm gonna, as soon as the film crew is really done with me, I'm gonna shave this thing off. They're not really done with me yet. I had shaved it off and I had to grow it back for those scenes we just did in that castle.
Right.
I got this one. What is Richard's opinion of James from the Invest Answers channel, who consistently calls Hex a scam, but also has promoted coins like Luna and loves Solana?
I think that I'm surrounded by people stupider than me.
Welcome to the manosphere.
and then I have to educate them. And then they're immune to the education until a year or two later. And then they're like, he was right about everything. So in this case, people seem to think that a token that only inflates has no value. But what does it do? It just inflates. You just get more of the same coin. Well, let's analyze that statement. What do humans do? They just inflate. They just make more of themselves. Well, I guess we disproved life. And what does Bitcoin do? It just inflates. It used to be 0 coins in 2009. And now there's 18 million coins or 19 million coins. It just inflates. And Ethereum just inflates. And Dogecoin just inflates. And everything just inflates. And you're like, wait a second. Maybe the best performing asset class of all time, which consists entirely of things that just inflate, trumps and beats your fan fiction theory of inflation bad. Maybe the market's smarter than you are. And so having an innovative product that serves a real world need of delaying gratification, which, by the way, is the key to all success in investment, the key to all success in personal development, doing the thing that is long-term smart instead of short-term smart, doing the thing that if you could have locked up your Bitcoin when it was $1, you would have got to ride it up to 20K, 60K, but instead you thought you were smart and sold it at 10 or 100 or 1,000. So we need delayed gratification. We need the monetization of the time value of money. These are successful products in legacy. There was no other version of them. It is truly innovative and more secure and more featureful and more price performative than Bitcoin. But somehow these idiots, they're just immune to it. Like I say, it's more secure than Bitcoin, and they just don't care about security. I say it's better price performance. They just don't care. I say it's got more features. They just don't care. They're just idiots. They're just like idiot maximalists. They prefer being stupid and broke. And you're just like, I don't know what Hex could possibly do better. It has worked 100% flawlessly while everything else around it has failed. It is more secure and designed to be more secure, and it's had more audits than Bitcoin has had, and it's had less failures, none. And how am I supposed to win harder? Price goes up 10,000x, operates flawless and perfectly, was given out for free to Bitcoin holders. What more do you want? It is awesome and amazing and perfect today. So.
All right, I got this one. Hexiest man in the world. Thank you for all you do, Richard. This community is incredible. I'll represent the best I can on the Hex golf team at the Pulse Masters, the first cryptocurrency golf tournament in history. Leave it to Hexicans to create another first.
He's not even kidding. I think there's a Hex.
There actually is one.
Golf tournament. Yeah, real. There's also Hex shirts and some UK soccer team, a professional one, a big one.
Didn't we just have we just had a Red Pill Lions boxing match, right?
Mm-hmm, we did.
And then there was a NASCAR. It was the slowest imaginable NASCAR. And then we won the TX2K fastest half mile race at 233 miles an hour. The Hex Lambo. It's for sale now. I think you can buy it for $250,000. Or no, 1.5 million. I can't remember. It's got to be 1.5 million. I don't know why I said $250,000. That was very stupid. You can't buy the base car for $250,000, let alone one with twin turbos and every imaginable upgrade. There's Hexicans are people that are very wealthy and like to promote what they love, and we love Hex.
Homie Click says, Richard Hart, what are your thoughts on the rise of simp projects in the crypto space? I think we talked about that already, didn't we, Rocket?
I think it's all pseudo gambling, and anyone will buy anything if they're degenerate enough. You can bet on cockroach racing if you're degenerate enough. And so they'll just buy whatever appears in front of them. So I think that the world would be a better place if everyone bought unique, innovative products with walled gardens, product market fit that were pretty viral. But I don't live in that world. I live in the world where people buy hats and gun skins and OnlyFans subscriptions. And dude, I'm cheap. This hotel I'm staying in is like $70 or $80 a night. I'm using my friend's laptop.
Are you the kind of guy who just says, you know what, just like I'll stay at the Motel 6 and I'm cool with that?
Apparently I am. But
yeah.
My mom also lives in a place where, you ain't got the most expensive like hotels available.
Right.
So
yeah, I've noticed that. I maybe it's like, I mean, I know just a little bit about your upbringing and maybe I'll get into that in a minute, but I think maybe that's probably something because I'm not from the world where it's like I'm staying in five-star hotels. I'm driving like a Lamborghini. I've got a Toyota Tacoma that I can carry my snowmobiles around in, and and I'm good with that. But and then the next day I'm in Brickell and rubbing shoulders with people in 5-star hotels.
Did I already give you a list of all the cars I have yet?
No. What is it? I would like to know too.
Okay. So my newest one is a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. I just got that was $700,000.
Mm.
Before that, I got a Bentley Continental GT convertible, 12-cylinder speed version, black speed version, and that one was 365,000 euros. And then before that was a Lamborghini Huracan Evo. That was 300. So we got 700, 365, 300. We got the $1 million SF90. I paid much less. I got a good deal on it. But if you try and buy one in America, it's $1 million, 1,000 horsepower. Beat on that car. The track, carbon, everything. Absolutely carbon everything. Aceto Fiorano, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got the Ferrari Roma. That was $285K. And then I got a lifted G-Wagon. That was $250,000. And that's factory lift, AMG.
Mm-hmm.
G-Wagon 4x4 squared. And then
I've been in one just recently, actually. Jay Waller's got one of those.
I like them.
Yeah. It's like sitting in a rave.
What else? So I also got, I know I'm missing one. So I own McLaren. It's like months and months and months and months and months and months late. Bunch of Teslas haven't come in yet. I got like a Plaid and an X and a Roadster as well. And then I ordered a convertible 296 GTS Ferrari as well.
Is that your thing, cars? Is that your collectible? Is that what you like to do?
Nah, I just like already completed the watch game. So now like I'm gonna also get one of these Aston Martin Valkyries. It's gonna cost me like $4.5 million, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. What am I gonna do with all this stupid money? Like what can I do with it? It's only useful if you spend it. Like dude, I have so much money. Like too much. So it's too bad I can't tell anyone how much I have. It's a lot.
Richard, I have a question.
Richard Hart twerk.
All right.
That one's too good.
Richard, you said in the past, and you've been accurate about calling the bottom of Bitcoin and then calling the top of Bitcoin on these cycles. And it seems like that leads the industry or leads the bear bull. Then you also had called the watch top, and you've recently, maybe a month or so ago, had said about real estate. Where do people actually put money? If they're going to speculate on something. Where do they put money?
Well, what if everything is going down? You just literally sit in cash and hope everything keeps going down, and then buy the bottom. But it's risky because some people don't update some people follow t.me/Richard's calls and they know what I'm thinking when I think it, or twitter.com/RichardHartwin. But if you don't update your life view or read what I'm thinking about often enough, you can just miss a big move, So I think the bottom will come at some point. And in Hex, it might already be here. Hex might have already bottomed. Because the last bear market only lasted a year. And we're now a year and a half into this bear market. And it's because a fake double top was bought on leverage, and now all those guys are getting liquidated. 3 Arrows Capital, etc. And then people are discovering that getting loans on your crypto is also leverage, but you just didn't know it. So now you're being forced to sell to meet your margin call of getting liquidated on your loan. But people didn't realize that could happen because they thought crypto only went up and never down. So once that's all washed out, and if macro at least pauses on the interest rate increases or goes flat for a little while, that could be our bottom, and the timing is about right for it. So Hex might have bottomed now. You might see bottoms in Ethereum and Bitcoin next few months, hopefully. But really, the interest rates does affect it.
Right.
So the Fed can, if they keep raising rates, if they move rates back to the 70s, you're going to continue to see prices decline across everything. But here's the part that people don't get, that I know that nobody else knows. If the prices continue to go down and the value of your assets continues to go down, it cancels out. So if you had assets and you wanted to buy a house with them, the house goes down and your assets go down, but they go down the same rate, you broke even. And so the real difference in a market where the very, very occasional instance where cash is actually becoming more valuable almost never happens, but we're in it now. As long as what you have isn't dropping at the same rate the prices of the stuff you want are, you're still ahead of the game. It's an interesting little analysis that could make you feel better about watching the price of things go down. Right. That's the difference. If you don't own the thing, you want the price to go down. If you do own the thing, you want the price to go up. So it's really just a question of what you own. You own real estate, you want the price to go up. You want to buy more real estate, you want the price to go down. You own crypto, you want the price to go up. You want to buy crypto, you want the price to go down. Oh, interesting fact. You may not have heard this, but the sacrifice addresses for Pulsechain and Pulsechain at one point were sitting on $660 million of stablecoin. Interesting. A lot of money.
Yes. Interesting.
Dollar cost. Can you comment about market appetite outside of Hex? Because I know you engage the community outside of Hex and Hexicans. Can you talk about, are people asking for advice? Are they asking to participate? Or are they kind of holding their positions or what?
You've had a couple people. To tell you the truth, outside of let's just say the Hex YouTubers and everything like that, everyone's been pretty scared to tell anyone to even DCA or anything like that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I told my best friends to get in.
Well, I said outside of the Hex influence group and everything like that, everyone else is pretty, because just about everyone who recommended anything in the last 2 years, it's pretty much gone. It's down 90%. And then most other influencers, talked about Luna, Celsius, Voyager.
Oh, fuck all those people.
Yeah, all that shit. And then
scumbags.
Yeah. So but there is starting to be. This is why I go on all these red pill shows and everything, trying to tell people about Hex and other cryptocurrencies, is because it's you want to buy when the prices are going down, obviously, and it's not the easiest time to be buying, obviously, right? But that's what you want to buy. It
is actually the easiest time. You get more for the same money. I never understood this logic. Why do people like paying more for stuff?
I don't.
They want to buy the stuff. It's the same stuff. Wouldn't you rather get more stuff for your money than less stuff?
Yeah, that's why we've been screaming it from the rooftops for people to buy. We have literally outside of the Hexagons, I think I've been one of me, Charlie, and a couple of guys have been one of the few people out here telling people to get Hex now. Every time we do a course and everything like that, this last course we ended up getting, we have almost, about maybe 870 people in this. More than half of them are brand new, and then they're all going to be onboarded into Hex. So it's we've been onboarding as much as we can, getting people into Ethereum at the very least, tiptoeing them, because once they have Ethereum, they can just one little step and they're in Hex or in their whatever cryptocurrency they want to get into. But typically, Hex is probably the best one. Yeah.
I don't think people realize how good it is that you can go up 10,000x and only dip 10% more than Ethereum. Ethereum dipped 85, Hex dipped 95. It's still up 70x versus Ethereum. 70x. That's a lot of percent. Isn't that 7,000%? More. It's what is that? What is 70x? What's 70 times 100? 7,000. Yeah.
Right now, every other market is in basically fucking denial right now. The most in denial are the real estate guys. I about 2 months ago I started saying, hey, you guys, I think it's not on Fresh and Fit, but it was on another show I went on over there in Miami, where I said, hey, I think the market's kind of topped out. I'm like, no, bro. We're going to go down 5% in the market. Real estate doesn't go down.
It just went down 11% last month.
I know.
It was the biggest 1 month drop.
Wow.
In history.
Mm-hmm. It's going to go down more.
Can you define what is sound money? What does that phrase mean to you?
I mean, so like the basic definition. So first of all, anyone that asks this question is a nerd, and this has nothing to do with mad gains at all. And you can't get rich answering this stupid question. But it's just a flex and show what a genius I am. I'm going to answer the question anyway. But this is the kind of knowledge like knowing the order of the planets from the sun. Cool, you know that, and you're wrecked and broke still. Congrats. So wrecked broke people answering this question. Here we go. Money is, well, I'll give you the better answer first. So the better answer is that the only thing that matters is goods and services, and that everything else is accounting. If you can make the accounting more efficient, then you can make the world a better place. And so money and finance is just a bunch of way to help allocate resources for goods and services production and distribution. So money historically, and you can go on Wikipedia and check this, it's durable, it's divisible, it's recognizable. And is that it? Durable, divisible, recognizable. I think there's another one. Durable, divisible, recognizable,
Fungible.
Scarce and fungible. Cool. And that's it. And what do we get? Well, our money isn't scarce. It gets more there's more of it all the time. This is why the value goes down, because they keep printing it and 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 printing it, and therefore it's not worth much. So things that don't get printed that way, that have a higher cost to print, like houses and gold and crypto, etc. Wait, crypto? Well, crypto that has good math behind it, crypto that has an on-ramping of users that exceeds its inflation rate. Bitcoin actually used to go up higher in value when its prices were lower, and when the inflation was way higher, because it was the ratio of on-ramping new users to the ratio of minting new coins was better back then. Now it's a lot harder to on-ramp a multiple of users, even though it's a lower inflation rate, because every 4 years the inflation rate drops in half in Bitcoin. Which means it was exponentially higher back then, but it was also exponentially easier to multiply your community, which is why it's at the top of its S-curve. Thus, so money is those things that we talked about: divisible, durable, recognizable, scarce. Transportable is useful, by the way. I believe that's one of the features as well, transportable. Because they used to use like giant immovable stones called yap in some Polynesian islands, but couldn't move them anywhere. At least that's, I think, what they were called. No, they're called rye stones, REI stones, not yap. Different. Maybe yap was like seashells or something. So that's the answer to what money is. And then he said sound money. And so it's all that same crap I just said, except you're not getting beat up by some guy that's printing it all the time. And therefore its inflation rate should be lower. And then really the real nerds are going to say inflation is price. And what you're talking about is monetary unit expansion, like actually minting more of the actual currency. It's called monetary expansion, not inflation. So the real nerds are going to tell you inflation is price side and money supply is monetary expansion. So there's other stuff that you can't make money on. Enjoy. Look how smart we are. Buy the right ticker. You can make money on that.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about being a Richard Hart maxi? I mean, I always bring the classic, Thanos gauntlet of the Richard Hart.
There you go.
Nice, stuff. So could you talk a little bit about like being a Richard Hart maxi versus because
sorry we've for all you guys watching at home, all you crybaby people. I didn't curse, did I? But you're still going to cry about that even because the imagery was too spicy for you, all you cowards at home. Oh, we fought in World War II, but we can't handle cursing. Like you shot a bunch of people in the head, but you can't handle cursing. I just don't get it at all. I'm a fan of cursing. So. Like the stuff that I make is good, and the stuff that other people make sucks. And I wish there was a more nuanced, less biased way to put that, but I'm not sure there is. Like, why does Hex have 100% flawless operation and uptime for years, and everything else is just down and broken all the time? I guess everyone else just sucks, and we're awesome. I guess that's why. And, it's weird that the world is that way. You know, like I wish that more people were good at what they did, but they're not. You know, don't know why. Like, and so I just whenever someone goes into some other thing that I didn't design, I'm so used to watching it go to zero that I'm just tired of seeing it. Like, I don't want to promote. The number of things that I promote is like Ethereum's good, Hex is amazing, and then all the other stuff I'm making is just super well designed, really great stuff. You got like, you can only, where am I going to, I can send you to Tornado Cash for anonymity. I can't send you to Monero because then no one accepts it. And actually it wasn't anonymous if you'd used it within an hour of when you received it for quite a long time. Oops. And they had an inflation bug one time. And their founder's in jail now. It's like, whatever. I mean, they're still trying at least. It's at least an honest attempt at something that brings utility to the world. Like, privacy is a human right. They're trying. But Tornado Cash is so much better. Like, ZK snarks, zero knowledge proofs are better than ring signatures as far as anonymity technology goes. Price performance is better. You can get into a stable coin. You can get into Hex. You can trade on chain exchange without middlemen that are going to de-anonymize you, which is the whole idea of the anonymity. Like, if you have to go to a middleman and suck middleman D and send selfies and stuff, that pretty much cancels out your anonymity anyway. And so, like, Zcash is just better than Monero, and Ethereum is just better than Bitcoin. And for price performance, Hex is just better than all that stuff combined. And like, why would I send somewhere? What is the thing I care about in crypto that would make me want to recommend something else? So, okay, Ethereum fees are too high. Pulsechain.com. Go play with the testnet now. If you had coins on Ethereum within the last 6 months, they're on the testnet now. Go play with them. They're free. Go to pulsechain.com and go play with your free coins now. Trading, lower fees. Okay, pulsex.com. More liquidity on the Pulsechain network, pulsex.com. Okay, so we got lower fees, we got more liquidity, we got time deposit, we got amazing price performance. Like, what is the thing that's missing? I would want to send someone somewhere else, you know? Like, I guess wallet's missing. So MetaMask, it's like, it works okay, and they're not really victimizing the users much. They're just getting them for 0.9% in their swaps if they use their built-in to the wallet swap feature. But other than that, they've been okay. So that's not like vital, but like, so what is the thing that's missing from my suggestion list? You've got trading, you've got consensus network, you've got value storage, time deposit. Do you need a meme coin in your life? Is that what's needed? I mean, we've even got Hex shares tradable through Hedron. Like, there's other like layer 2 stuff in Hex as well if you want to use it. And at least the founder was honest and was given away for free. And like, and it's had audits and it was written well. So like, I just don't see any reason to suggest people higher risk, suckier stuff. And so I'm just kind of emergently a Richard Hart maxi myself, except I do suggest Ethereum to people still. I do suggest Tornado Cash. I didn't invent either of those projects. I don't see the reason to suggest anything else. Like, why would I ever have someone use Bitcoin? It's slower, more expensive, buggier, no anonymity. Why would anyone use that?
That's true. You get so much pushback because you used to be such a position of Bitcoin or nothing.
Yeah, well,
and then
Ethereum used to suck, and then it stopped sucking. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, they won. Like, that's it. Bitcoin had a chance to unsuck itself, and they just chose not to, and now it's old tech. It's time to get everyone out of it into better stuff.
I saw that you had liked a tweet that I posted, and I came out publicly as far as my name, not just an avatar, not just a screen name. I made stakes, 3 separate stakes, $10,000 each for 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year. And I think that again, as long as people are cautious, it's weird that in my military life, everything was known about, you're recognized in your community. In medicine, you're recognized by your credential and your accuracy. And it's weird that people hide behind avatars as much. Can you speak to that value?
Well, I mean, everyone on the internet's a prick. So it's like, if the internet is going to send something to your house, what they're sending is a glitter bomb or a real bomb or the SWAT team or like, so the internet, the reason for that is because there's no, when you're in high school, they make you dress up before you can go to like Universal Studios on a field trip. Why? Because they discovered that if people dress up better, they fight less. But if you let people wear whatever they want, they're going to be wearing their gang colors and getting into fights. And so when you have personal responsibility to act like what you're wearing and be consistent, or to not get blowback on your main identity, because if you act wrong, you're going to get blowback. When you remove that feedback mechanism, people act terrible. So when you remove the feedback mechanism of being able to receive retribution, when people can just anonymously do evil, they will. And so the internet allows people to anonymously do evil without blowback, and it makes the world a worse place. And so isolating your IRL life from your online life is very intelligent. Only let the people that have enough value to have earned your physical location know where you are. Now, there's some exceptions to that. Like, you know, if you're a singer, you want people to come to your concert, okay, you know. But like, yeah, look, I used to be super Mr. Anonymous. No one knows anything about anything. But now I have a YouTube channel and Twitter and a Telegram, and, you know, I put my thoughts and feelings and have done pretty well making the world a better place by yelling as loud as I can. And, you know, it's been a good trade. I think it's been a good trade, but I still am more anonymous than most. You know, people don't know where I live, and it's like, unless you want to grow boobs and dance near me, probably not going to know where I live. Like, yeah, why would the world be a better place? Like, so for instance, if I knew where Tom Cruise lived, would that help me in my life? Would it help him? You know, I don't think it's useful for either of us to like have that knowledge just at hand. And so I think if you want to get the outsized returns of being an influencer and trying to make the world a better place, it is useful to do so with an identity. But whether that identity matches what's on your passport or not is probably irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, Tom Cruise's real name is Thomas Mapother, and Anthony Robbins' real name is Anthony Mahork. And, you know, you go down the list, and it's like Richard Hart's real name is Richard Schuler. And you go down the list and you're like, the better names are better, right? So better looking car is better, better sounding name is better. It's just weird that there's this duality. So I tell you on one hand that you can reap the rewards of letting your identity be public and like influencing others to have better lives. But then on the other hand, you've got these people hiding behind like Pepe the Frog pictures and clown face pictures. Like, if someone is in your thread and they have a Pepe photo or a clown photo, and you look at their post history, you will often see people's desires only to cause harm. And every single thing that they say is only to hurt. And you're like, how is this helping anybody? And if it's performance art and it's funny, I'm cool with it. But a lot of it is just not funny, just sucky. And you're like, oh, you don't even have any followers? Hide block. Hide and block, hide and block. I hide and block people all day long. I block thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people because I want the people that follow me to have a better quality of life, and having their attentions vandalized by losers
Absolutely
isn't good for anybody.
Yeah. I still catch shit for this too. It's like people will say, "Oh, your real name's not Rollo Tomassi." I'm like, yeah, but like you're saying, you know, Tom Cruise and the rest of these guys, they don't have those real names. You know, that's not actually their real names. But it's like they think they got you right once they figure out what your last name actually is. Right? I know your demon name. Right? I have control over you.
Yeah, I think it's funny because like I told everyone my name because I wanted to. I was like, I'm just going to tell everyone, you know, and like my history is awesome. Yeah. You were sued for $500 for spam 20 years ago. Yes, I was. That's correct. I was sued in civil court in small claims court for $500. One of the first people in the world to be sued for spam 20 years ago. True.
Yeah. You're a scammer.
Well, what I've seen is, like you said, Rolo, you're on camera. Your face, your tone, how you communicate with your audience. Same thing with Richard. Same thing with George Gammon or Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, you have reach outside of your own direct circle in some ways because we're programmed to read people. You know, what I get frustrated about is how much Twitter hate, Twitter commentary, anonymous, and then when they get called out as being factually incorrect, they just delete their account or they start another spoof account that they have no accountability.
And then
so
they come
I
back
saw even in the stream
with the same shit.
I saw even in the stream people saying things inside the stream. I'm like, okay, come on a channel, present your case, show exactly why things are in your view, and nobody ever stands up. No one ever points out anything.
No, we live in the age of drive-by commentary, right? That's what I call drive-by comments. It's like I can do a 4-hour live stream and get really in depth into things, and then people will say, "Oh, I can't watch a 4-hour live stream. It's like too long. Didn't read." And then I got to do a clips channel, and I do
8-hour live streams, dude.
Yeah,
you got to get on my level. I've only done like 3 of those though.
So like, and I do them only once a week, right? And then so I'm putting other stuff out there, and I'm putting out shorts and everything. And it's like I can tell when people haven't watched the video, right? They just see the title, and they just see the the first 4 comments on there, and they just want to say fuck you, or they just want to have some sort of like interaction with you, or some kind of what I call drive-by commentary. And you can tell that they didn't they didn't watch the video. In some cases, it's a short that's like 45-second video. Had you watched it, you would not be owning yourself as a result of that. But it's weird to me because it's like Rich is saying here, it's like there's just the guys who just want to do harm. And it's really just because they either hate what you are, hate what you represent, hate that you have a Rolex, hate that you do all this stuff, and then you're out there, you're putting yourself out there, and you're like, oh, I gotcha. That's not his real name. Oh, look, I found something from 20 years ago, so ergo he's a scammer of some sorts. And I think you're correct in the sense that like there's this sort of personality that we are online. And for a lot of guys, it's what their real personality eventually becomes. Mm-hmm. Like in my 5th book, I use this as an illustration in there. It's like David Bowie, when he was doing like Ziggy Stardust back in the 70s, he did basically if you've ever heard the album Ziggy Stardust, the concept album and everything, he sort of becomes like Ziggy Stardust. It's David Bowie or Ziggy Stardust, and Ziggy Stardust is this character that he created. It's a persona that he made, and it was like this alien. He was an alien that came down from whatever planet, and he was there as sort of this messenger, and he played this music and everything. And it got to the point where all of his fans were calling him Ziggy instead of David Bowie. And that's what they expected him to be. They actually believed that he was this character that he had portrayed. And we're talking like 1974, I think is when the album came out. And he was doing this interview on Rolling Stone magazine. He said, I had to stop doing Ziggy. I said, I had to cut it off completely because it's what people were expecting, and I don't want to be Ziggy. And he said, on top of everything else, I was starting to become Ziggy. I was starting to play along with what people expected me to be, like the persona that I had created. And I use that as an example in my 5th book. It's like we have to be very, very careful because there's guys who will create a persona for themselves. They won't put their faces on or whatever, but they become this whatever it is, that personality that they create for themselves online, to the point where it's like that's all they know. That's all they're ever going to be. And they start to believe their own bullshit. And it becomes like a pathological psychology for them, so that they end up becoming whatever that character is that they've created for themselves online. That's why we always
make everybody online awesome.
Doesn't have. Yeah, we have like our hand
character awesome, and then you'll become awesome. Yeah, that's what I think is the great part. Like I've got free books that you can download and just read them. T.me/sci-vibe, and in there's a relationship, respect, romance chapter. And it's basically like you're going to become what you practice. And if you practice being more positive, you're going to become more positive. If you practice having better posture, you're going to have better posture. If you practice having better things that you think about, more positive frames, you're going to be a happier person.
We are what we consistently do.
Exactly. And so like if you're worried about creating a persona and then having to not do it too much because you might become it, just start with a better persona, and then lucky you if you become what you've been practicing. You know, like I have improved over my life, and it was through conscious effort and deliberate practice. You know, like I used to not type with all my fingers, and then I was like, you know what? I would be faster if I type with all my fingers. Now I'm like, you know, top 1 or 2% in the world. I could do less efficient businesses. Like I had a power cord business that I wanted to do that I didn't follow through with, but I've got the designs for. I've got like a very small computer case design that I didn't bother with, but could have. And they're just businesses that don't scale, you know? And so it's better that I do currency, which scales amazingly well. And it's just an example of choosing the more effective thing to spend your time on instead of the less effective thing. You know, I used to play a lot of video games. How much better am I making in the world running down somebody else's narrative that they designed for me, particularly one that might be designed to get you to grind your life away?
Churn marketing. Yeah. Get back into the churn. It's about meant to get you back into to keep you. They don't want you to leave. They don't want you to have a life. They want you to be creative. It's creative for you. Yeah, I hate that too. And I was gonna, maybe this is a good question for you, Rich. Is like, what is it that you like when you're being Richard Hart? Like, what do you like to do outside? I mean, you said you like to collect cars.
Girls.
Like when you turn off all of this shit, like what do you like to do? Like I go and I play guitar in a band, right? So it's like that's my turn off. I turn this shit off and I go and I live in the real world. Like, what's the real world for you?
Girls, literally. Like it's just, I don't give a shit about anything else except girls. I don't care. Yes, I have the best speakers, the best monitor, the best cameras, the best lenses, the best lighting, the best cars, the best jewelry, the best fashion, the best watches. I actually don't care about any of that crap. Girls, I care about. They're the most wonderful things in the entire world. I totally adore and worship them and think about them constantly. I love women.
Right.
So that's what you are like outside of all this. Like you turn it off and you go like hang out, clubs, strip clubs.
I'm gonna go meet. I don't even like going to strip clubs, truthfully. Like I should probably like them more. But like wherever you are, you're just gonna you're gonna go, you're gonna meet the chicks, you're gonna hit it off with a certain bunch of them. And then it will take quite a while before they cycle out the girls to try that again. And so you don't have a high enough turnover there to like, and then if you're already hooking up with a bunch of the girls there, like you have to worry about the logistics of which girls know which other girls, because some are very jealous and some aren't. And the jealous ones will tell you. They will very happily tell you, I'm jealous, so don't tell me about any of this other stuff, right? So like you're like, okay, so usually, as far as meeting people goes, and as sad as it's so sad. It literally is so sad. Achieve everything. Become an example of something that you never thought possible. Become a self-made man, rumored to be a billionaire, that long litany of achievements and stuff. And then you're like, the game is exactly the same. You see somebody that looks cool, you walk up to them and say hi and hope that you get a good response. And that's it. It's like absolutely nothing has changed. And you, by the way, will blow out if you mention any of that other crap I just told you. It literally nothing has changed at all. So the next level for me is to keep working the flex, but with a better audience. And then probably Instagram. Like I'll just have to have a couple guys like DMing people to try and set up cool events that just have cooler people at them. That's like the only other next level. Because I'm gated by so here's what happens when you go out and meet people in the real world like I do. You are gated by people that come out into the real world. And I can tell you for a fact that the girls that you see on Instagram do not actually exist in the real world. But Richard, that's impossible. They're humans. No, no. Because I go to the real world and I see who's in the real world and they are not there. And they've never been there. And like, you could pay your buddy an hourly wage to go sit at the Sephora store or whatever makeup store the fancy girls are going to, and surveil and just keep a log of the hottest things he sees. And you ain't gonna find not even 10% of them girls you're seeing on Instagram. So it's like there's a pocket of extremely beautiful people that do not go out into public. And I don't know whether they just mail order everything or what the deal is, but you will not have access to them in any normal human being's life. You go to the restaurant, you go to the shopping mall, you go to a club, you go to the laundromat, you will never, ever, ever see or meet that girl ever, not a single time. And so if you want to actually meet that person and interact with them, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to find a way to do so virtually or SWAT team raid. and I'm not sure that second one's a good idea. So you have to work the digital angle, because I'm telling you, these people aren't in the real world, period. Absolutely not in the real world.
Yep. That's exactly what Myron and Fresh are talking about all the time. It's like you have to like spam approaches. You've got to be like hitting every angle, like every platform, every angle, just basically doing it. They'll tell you it's a numbers game. You still have to have like a personality and no game once you got the girl like live right in front of you. But I got one more question for you is it hard for you to like turn off from all of this? Is it like difficult for you? Because I've had this conversation with Aaron Clary before. It's like we kind of have this common problem where it's like if you watch like a movie for 2 hours, you go, God damn it, 2 hours. I could have used that 2 hours to go and like, I don't know, promote or do the next big thing. Or I could have used that time that I was watching, a football game to go and use it to build my brand or something else. Is it like difficult for you to do that, to get away, to actually turn the shit off?
In my experience, you get into habits. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're going out. We're going out every night. Let's go every night. Let's do it. Oh, we're not. We're like, we're working on software now. All right, let's work on software. Oh, we're spending money now. Let's buy everything. And you just go and get into habits. Mm-hmm. I'm still not actually used to spending money, which is weird. Mm-hmm. I'm training to learn how to be okay with it. This like pay $10,000 an hour for private jets thing, I still hate it. I hate it, which is why I don't do very much. But in theory, I really should. Like in theory, I should just only fly private, period. And so like it's very hard for me to like learn how to waste money. It's weird, I know, but like I'm 42, man. If I'm going to have a good life, it needs to be right now, immediately, now. Yes. No more time to waste. I have to have a good life now. And so, I should just learn how to be okay with being less capital efficient and like maybe getting worse deals, but getting what I want now. Like I can't, like I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, $80 hotel room, borrowed laptop, Chinese, I paid, I think I paid $100 for this ring light. Never used a ring light before. It looks okay, but I didn't light up the back. Back sucked anyway. Like take my mom, right? How can I turn money into better health outcomes for my mom? And it is an extremely hard question to answer. I don't know who to write the check to. It really bothers me, and I've been rich and retired for decades. And I've kind of always had this problem, and it's always ended up with like, buy you a bigger television. That was the most creative I could get. Here, Dad, have some Tony Robbins coaching. Here, Mom, have a big TV. And I just could never transcend that, right? So now it's like, have a big TV and a car. But it's not actually as creative as I wish. And I swear to God, it's like anyone could do that for their mom now without being rich at all. Have a car and a bigger TV is something almost anyone could do for their, I don't know. Cars are kind of expensive now, but bigger TVs are not. Anyone could buy their mom a bigger TV now. And it's just crazy that, if you're rumored to be a billionaire, is this really how creative you are? Is that you're like, right. And then like, no matter where my mom lives, is there a better place? Should I move her somewhere else? But her family lives here. Like, I don't know, dude. This being really wealthy stuff is kind of like not as cool as I wish it was.
There's aspects that take a lot to getting used to. I remember when I got out of sort of the workaday gig economy and I started doing what I'm doing right now, it was like really difficult to justify like doing things. I'm like, I feel like I got like you get out of one routine and then you kind of get into another, and that other routine is just like you feel like you're not doing enough in the new routine, and you are. It's just that you're like it's just different from what you were used to before.
I love that everyone always has more followers than you, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is like? Why does everyone always have more followers? Always. Am I that ugly? Like what the F? I don't get it.
Yeah, I was just in Lake Tahoe with Jason Hartman, and we were just taking the wave runners out, and I had to like stop myself because I'm like, oh, this would make a really good Instagram moment. I'm like, I want to fucking be.
You know what, though, man?
Am I doing it because I want an Instagram moment, or am I doing it just because I want to have some fun with the guy?
I think you should pull the camera out. Pull the camera out. Screw that moment. Pull the camera out.
Mm-hmm.
I want more followers, and I think this Instagram crap will work. And because I've never tried it yet, but I'm pretty sure it will work. And it scales, man. Like what? Mm-hmm. Like yes, you had fun, but isn't it so much better when you can share that experience with everyone?
Everybody else, yeah.
Like so, I was at a castle, and we had butler. And we had 2 drivers, and we had, every imaginable thing, like a basketball court-sized indoor pool. And, the chicks I brought were extremely hot. And these are girls I hang out with. These are not like random casting call. Oh, just here, let me hire you to like come and hang out. But like all of that stuff is so quickly forgotten, and it becomes a blur. Mm. And in 6 months, I won't even remember that it happened because I'm focused on the next thing. Mm. But if I have that in my reel and Instagram, it will be more real for me. Like I'm focused so much on the future that I don't remember the past, and that kind of invalidates having a good past. It's useful if you've had a bad past to never look at it. But if you've had a good past, as I've had recently for the last 10 or 20 years, it would be better to remember it. So like, I would vote for doing what the girls are doing and take a picture of all your crap. And as long as it's not too high overhead, or at least pay someone else to do it for you, I think having a documented awesome life that on-ramps new people to the things that you care about and love and gives you a larger voice and makes your life matter more and increases your peer group and gives you more opportunity, gives them more opportunity. It just seems like so much win to me that like, as long as it's low overhead, like it's really not hard. Just pull out your camera and hit record. Mm-hmm. I think it's awesome. Like I support it, man. And I think it's worked out for everybody in Hex. Like everybody that's become a personality in Hex and a streamer, like Gary's got a channel, Molly's got a channel, everybody's got a channel, I think it's been all upside really. Yeah. What's your guys' take on that? Like, have you enjoyed?
I didn't even realize like it took Fresh from Fresh and Fit. Like I had never leveraged my Instagram until he says, "Hey man, like all I do is post pictures of my greyhounds on there, right? And just like random stuff that's going on." He says, "You need to like really leverage this and like because people want to know like what you do when you're not on your channel or whatever. They want a sort of a backstage view as to like what your life is about." And I didn't really appreciate that until he showed me this. And he's like, you can leverage it, of course, but it's really more about the engagement for like the overall engagement, I guess.
Well, it's either watching you for free or wasting their money on OnlyFans. So
yeah, exactly. Maybe I'm saving guys from like spending $4,000 a month on an OnlyFans girl.
If I didn't have operational security concerns, I would just tape everything. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, I got new mail. Check this out. Oh, look, I'm eating this. Like, I would.
Do you get recognized on commercial flights? Do you get recognized in airports?
I got one guy noticed me at the airport, said that you made $45,000 on Hex. He said he sold the top. Maybe he did. Who knows? We'll see if it gets to the
I have to
top.
speak to the game theory actually for a moment. So I remember in 2020, this event that's coded into Hex was called Big Payday. And I remember that we did a 24-hour stream. The Hex community came together for 24 hours and live streamed for that entire period. And I remember at the end of that stream, I felt like Dollar Cost had more knowledge about the game theory than I did, even though I was, in the origin as well. And he actually helped me through advice to understand in staking better and to basically reposition myself for a longer game. And I find that the past couple of years, for me particularly, has been I want the new people to not just buy at a better price point or have some exit at the top and pay attention to chart or something like that. I really don't care about that as much. What I care about is I want them to learn from our mistakes. And dollar cost helped me reposition 2 years ago that set me on a better track. And so now as a retired guy, I came out of retirement basically to be public, not to monetize a YouTube channel or anything like that. It really comes because I don't really care about any of that stuff. I care about the next wave doing better. And I think that's very unique to the Hex product. You can talk, till the cows come home about Bitcoin is going to be this, Ethereum is going to be this, Solana is going to, replace something else if you are a bag holder. And to me, that just seems to be priming the pump for the next group to buy at a higher price point from your position. But for Hex, because of the yield component and the truth engine staking element, we've taught people to space out their ladder 6 months or 1 year instead of a few weeks and actually look at the numbers and do the math. Maybe Dollar Cost can comment on that because he really helped me a lot 2 years ago.
No, no, for sure, Gary. I mean, back in the day, I was pretty famous for this, where I stupidly, I think we all did these kind of mistakes where, I was making daily stakes for a while. Not the best strategy. And then that made me kind of like, let me look at my strategy and overhaul everything and kind of start concentrating things out and everything. There was guys in the beginning of Hex where they were pretty much doing they were skipping years. So they were speculating, putting all their money out, all right, I'm gonna put all my money out. I'm skipping 2024 and 2025 because I think that's going to be bear markets, and I'm going to put it all in 27 and 29 and stuff like that. And it was just, I just started pushing this whole thing of just making sure that you have a certain amount of Hex coming out every single year. And then from there, maybe adding to it more, but it's just going more into heft, maybe 1 or 2 stakes a year for the most part for people. And then something that I've been doing for a lot of hexagons, especially OG hexagons, is kind of helping them out, and especially when they have a lot of Hex come out, to how to restructure that back in their staking ladder and stuff, because it gets tough for some people because it becomes a lot of money. It's like right now is the best time to be buying Hex and staking it out, because it doesn't matter. It should just be Hex. One Hex is one Hex. But if that Hex costs 40 cents versus 4 cents, it's a lot easier to do those longer term, stakes, 10 plus year stakes out and stuff now versus later on, because it just you kind of second guess yourself basically.
Another point is Richard built this product and launched it in December of 2019. And from that point on, yes, he's made commentary and he talks about why the game theory was constructed the way it was, why security is the priority, why self-control, individual controlling their own keys matters. But so many products and applications and websites and front ends have been built by the community, organically, even without financial incentive to do so, just because the ecosystem thrives from the community participation, even though the product and Richard's design is 3 years old, 100% uptime, something that we can trust and we believe in. And we care about
a lot of people do a better job promoting Hex and understanding it than I do, which is crazy because I invented it and pretty good at marketing things and selling things. So I think Matty Allen does a better job talking about giving yourself a gift in the future, like teleporting it through time using the time locking. I think there's guys that focus better on the share price mechanism and getting you the best rate that you can for your T shares and focusing on T shares. I should focus a lot more on T shares. I should focus a lot more on share price. I don't think the other guys watching even know what a T share is. That's my fault, So basically a T share is like a Bitcoin miner. You want to mint new Bitcoin, you must buy Bitcoin mining hardware to do it. You want to mint new Hex, you must have T shares to do it. Okay, what are T shares? You get your Hex, you lock it up. The longer you lock, the more shares you get. The larger you lock, the more shares you get. But longer counts a lot more than larger, like a lot more. And so the earlier that you get in, the better, the more T shares you get per Hex base rate, and then that only goes up over time. So the amount of T shares that you can get for a 1-day stake only goes down over time. You will always get less forever. It will always be more expensive in hex terms forever, which is how we simulate compounding interest. So you always have more than the new guys for the same input because they always will get less. And so, and then Kareem with his Dream Wallet, a lot of other guys have visualized and seen other angles that are probably more effective than my own. I tend to focus a lot on the price chart, and everyone that's, staked and locked up, they don't care what the price is right now. They're not even liquid. It's like they care, but like they don't really, really care. It's so, I would like to evolve and get better in showing the nuances and intricacies and wonderful design, much of it that was on purpose, and some of it was really great luck.
No. Well, guys,
I can do a better job selling Ethereum than Vitalik too.
We've been at this for 2.5 hours. I think maybe we should tie it up right now. But before we do, I kind of like to go around the horn here and see what like you're going to be doing in the future here. So I guess we can start with Miguel. Miguel, what do you have planned? What's going on next for you? And I know you're doing your Cultivate Crypto.
Yeah, so I've got the crypto mindset course starts tomorrow. We're teaching at least about 400 to 500 new people in the crypto space, and we're going to teach them all about hex and everything like that. We're going to do over 3 webinars, almost like 12 hours of live in-person content, and it's all recorded as well and stuff like that. And so I'm super excited to get that started. I'm pretty much going to be MIA for about 2 weeks, just teaching up the next crop of crypto mindset alumni and stuff. So it's going to be awesome.
So if you guys want to get involved in that, I've got my link down below in the description there, so you guys can get involved. I think this is like the last day. I always get in.
You always are the last day, bro.
So yeah. So if you guys want to jump in,
I'm
and then you and I are going to be going to Vegas and looking for a building. I remember something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, we're going to be looking for a building, and then one thing I am really proud to say is through like the crypto mindset courses and stuff, we've onboarded maybe like 5,000 people into Hex just through the courses alone. So I'm really happy about that. And like that's staking hexagons, not just like holding hex, like staking, like real hexagons, man. So I'm super proud of that.
Good. Gary, what's going on with you? What do you got coming up in the future? Oh, unmute yourself.
Dropped.
Yeah, I got you. Unmute yourself.
I don't make as much online content as I had in the past in the origin years. Now, basically, if I know somebody that they have a couple $1 million worth of Bitcoin miners and they're curious about Hex specifically, then I'll fly out to where they're at in the world, and then I educate them about the process of onboarding, participating, what staking means, their responsibilities, all those sorts of things. So I basically just volunteer. I don't charge anything to do so. It's at my expense. And I've been doing that from basically the past 8 or 9 months. So I've been in 10 or 12 countries, lots of places in the world. So in the coming year, it's the same thing. If somebody has significant influence, it's one of the reasons, networking with Rollo and with a different group, is worthwhile, is because I care about the product being known. The biggest challenge about Hex is it's not known. It's free viral. It's something that most people in crypto don't know about Hex, or they have a preconceived notion about it that just isn't factually true. So I really only deal with high net worth or high influence kind of people. And that's, all volunteerism. That's my role.
Excellent. Rocky, what are we doing next week? Rocky, what are we doing on Monday?
So Mr. Tomasi is going to be coming to Shitfucktown, Connecticut, where I'm located, and we are going to be doing a lot of content, shooting some stuff for his book, and I got to deliver a lot of books that Rollo has signed and sent me for some of our utilities. I got a lot of work with Miguel and Rollo coming up, and then Red Pill Alliance NFT. You can check out our website, redpillalliance.com. Join our Discord to be a part of our community. We got a lot of cool shit going on in there, a lot of cool people in there. So and then making more music for people asking. There's new fellas music coming on the way, and that's about it.
Yep. And our next project will be tagged to Pulsechain.
Yes, sir.
Totally would.
Can I tell you what I'm doing?
Yes. Yeah. I definitely want to know what you're doing next.
World's largest free airdrop, pulsechain.com. Hope it comes soon. You're going to love it. Everyone loves free money. You can save the environment. No more blowing up the environment for consensus network. And deflation. No inflation at all. Coins only get more rare. They can only get burnt. 25% of the fees get burnt. Free books, t.me/SciVive. Got one called SciVive and then one called Fix the World. And then hex.com. Good dip currently. I think it's 5 cents now. It was 56.5 8 months ago, something like that. Follow me, Instagram.com/RichardHartOfficial. I got a lot of cool stuff. I got probably a Netflix documentary coming out end of the year, but we'll see. Netflix has to buy it. It is amazing production value. It's amazing story. So we'll see who picks it up, but someone will pick it up, and it should be out before the end of the year. Free books, free videos, free coins. I think that's it, man. Like, I'm here to save your guys' lives, not your keys, not your coins. Put yourself in charge of your own financial future, and bear market's a great time to acquire positions.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, what am I going to be doing tomorrow? I will be on Rule Zero. It's going to be on Paul Benjamin's channel, just so everybody knows. That's coming up tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be on there. I'm sure Ryan will be there. I think John from Modern Life Dating and some other people, like our regular crew, will be on. So that's tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Of course, my show is Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then after I'm done with that, I jump on a plane on Monday and I fly out to bumfuck Connecticut to hang out with the Savo brothers. So just watch for that. My midweek show will be from Connecticut. So you guys can see, but it's fun. I have a good time with you. I have a good time with you guys. So that's what I got going on. And also be sure to check out Jason Hartman stuff that I've been doing on Instagram. He's a good dude. I spent about 3-4 days in Tahoe with him. I'll also be back in Tahoe on the 21st to the 28th. I'm starting to do some just some quick hit videos there. I'll be there with Justin Waller the last week of August, which is coming up as well. And then I think that's it for right now. So guys, it has been my pleasure. Rich, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate you. I gotta get you solo sometime, just so we can just sort of talk about personal shit. So I think it'll be kind of fun. I'll definitely work that out so we can do a one-on-one sometime soon. But,
all right.
But I'm glad your mom's okay, and looking forward to seeing what you're doing in the future. But guys, thanks so much for this. And then with the video, by the way, Rich, I'll make sure I download and get to you as well.
Appreciate it, bro.
Got it. All right, fellas. Thanks a lot, and we'll see